Hello.
Yeah, you're audible. We are for
अच्छा, मैं पहले इसलिए करना चाहती थी, मैं उनकी थी कि मेरे पावर पॉइंट जो है वो दिख रहा है कि नहीं दिख रहा। कई बार होता है वो नहीं दिखता। एंड आई हैव हैड ऑल दिस एक्सपीरियंसेस ना, बीच कट गया, आज नहीं हुआ।
okay. Sir is also joining.
क्योंकि हेलो रिचा,
नमस्कार।
तो फिर
कैसे हैं आप?
गुड मॉर्निंग डॉक्टर साहब।
आप कैसे हैं?
ठीक हूँ मैं प्राजी आपकी। But nice to see you and after such a long time.
तबीयत ठीक है?
Thank you so much and congratulations, you're the vice chancellor. That's very good.
थैंक यू थैंक यू। तो शुड वी स्टार्ट?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are here now. We can start. Yeah.
ओके, प्लीज गो।
Okay. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor and Conference Patron, Dr. Upinder Dhar, और Sri Vaishnav
आवाज
Vidyapit
बहुत कम है।
Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. Chief guest on the occasion, Dr. Vidhu Mohan, former professor and head, Department of Psychology, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Dr. Santosh Dhar, Rector, SVV, and Dean Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research and Patron. Dr. Dinesh Nagar, Director and Convener, MANOPRABHA 2024. Dr. Shubhi Vyas, Coordinator of the conference. Honorable Head of Institutions, esteemed delegates, faculty members, and dear students. Mental health is not a destination, but a process. It is about how to drive, not where you are going. A very good morning to one and all. I, Dr. Amit Joshi, Master of the inaugural session, along with my colleague, Ms. Aparna Singh as rapporteur, welcomes you virtually at the third edition of MANOPRABHA 2024, a two-day international virtual conference based on the theme Mental Health and Quality of Life in the Age of Technology. I request technical team to virtually inaugurate the conference with lighting the lamps and by Saraswati Vandana.
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
Now, technical team will help us to extend floral welcome to the chief guest on the occasion by the conference patrons. to brief about the conference. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Amit Ji. At the onset, on behalf of Shri Vaishnav Institute of Social Sciences, Humanities and Arts, I take this privileged opportunity to extend warm greetings and happy morning to all who are connected online and are attending the inaugural ceremony of MANOPRABHA 24, the third international conference revolving around the theme mental health and quality of life in the age of technology. Chief guest of the inaugural ceremony, respected Dr. Vidhu Mohan, former professor and head, Punjab University, Patiala, Vice Chancellor of SVV, Honorable and respected Dr. Upinder Dhar, Rector and Patron of MANOPRABHA, Dr. Santosh Dhar, all the respected directors, HOIs, HODs, faculty colleagues, coordinators of the conference, Dr. Shubhi Vyas and Ms. Akanksha Saxena, HOD Humanities, Dr. Rupa Shinde, the staff of SVV, members of the functional team of Swisha, all the contributors to the conference, and dear students. 2 days of MANOPRABHA is organized every year by Swisha. We have received 106 abstracts from covering 20 states of the country. The theme of the seminar deals with intriguing issues pertaining to mental health and quality of life in the age of technology. Worldwide, the technological revolution has accelerated the pace of our day-to-day life, so much so that even visualizing life without smartphone and social media seems inconceivable. We are all surrounded by a digital panorama where constant exposure to information and communication technology, such as internet and digital devices, is slowly becoming an inseparable part of human life. The digital revolution or third industrial revolution has had a huge impact in transforming and reshaping the banking industry, communication, societal interaction, entertainment, employment, and education, and thus has contributed positively to our wellness and quality of life. With a large number of benefits associated with technological advancement, increased problem pertaining to mental health and wellness is also noticed. For example, a recent statistic indicate that India is facing a growing mental health crisis with 200 million people living with mental illness of varying severity. 8 of the 10 people having mental health problem is either not receiving the necessary treatment or are suffering in silence, where further increases the severity of the problem. To better understand the impact of technology and its link with mental health and quality of life, a brief overview of the 5 key milestones achieved in different phases of the digital era seems imperative. The first phase of the digital era or pre-internet period falls between 1958 to 1989. In 1958, the microchip and semiconductors were invented, which allowed manual processes to be converted into digital technologies. In this phase, organizations started shifting their outdated processes to digital data. In the post-internet era, 1919 to 2006, the personal computers exploded the market, providing people terminals to the World Wide Web in the offices and living room. It is in this phase that data sharing and access to public data through the internet became possible. In 1990, internet became publicly available, while in 1998, Google and in 2004, Facebook was formed. Worldwide in 2005, the figures of internet users touched the billion mark. The post-internet era also called mobile era, spanned around the period of 2007 to 2019. In 2007, iPhone was introduced and a shift to mobile gave rise to mobile revolution with the appearance of 4G in 2009. In 2013, the term digital transformation was coined. The period of post-pandemic era was considered from 2020 to 2022. Interestingly, in 2020, the global pandemic accelerated digital innovation. Massive change in the educational landscape was seen. Even at present, the online classes, seminars, meetings are carried out very effectively. Finally, the generative artificial intelligence or Gen AI era has commenced from 2022. The AI-driven chatbots and advanced fraud detection system has enhanced customer service delivery and security, forming new digital pathway between customers and the business. Advances in machine learning and tools like ChatGPT are clearly going to drive even more changes in the way we work, interact, and live. In November 22, OpenAI launched ChatGPT, a groundbreaking generative AI chat box. In December 23, Google introduced Gemini, its largest and most capable AI model. The year 2024 is often predicted to be a year of maturity and generative AI, with advancement expected to solidify its role in enhancing productivity and innovation across sectors as Meta launches its advanced open source large language model in April 2024. In India, is the second highest number of internet users with 1.12 billion cellular mobile connections covering 78% of the country's population. The average screen time using social media app is between 6 hours 45 minutes to 7 hours 5 minutes. As technology continues to evolve, so does the impact it has in our health and well-being. On one hand, technology has made our life more convenient and connected, while on the other side, it has introduced new challenges and concerns for our mental health and quality of life. A large number of benefits supported with technological gadgets like cloud and mobile computing, internet, mobile devices has enhanced our well-being and quality of life. The social media platform allow us to connect with people all around the world at phenomenal speed. Online gaming can be a great way to connect with people, while gaming can be entertaining. Excessive gaming can lead to sedentary behavior and lack of physical activity will eventually can negatively impact mental health. Digital tools have shown potential in addressing mental health problems. For instance, in a recent study, mobile phone and internet programs that have therapist guided and self-guided coaching techniques have proven to be helpful in reducing depressive symptoms and anxiety. Some practicing psychiatrists are increasingly relying on technology and are using next generative electronic medical records and smartphone based applications as additional therapy for patients. The Lancet Digital Health, the Digital Mind series are accessible to all net users who are interested in understanding issues related to mental disorders. Scholars and practitioners interested in e-health have been developing smartphone applications for various mental health disorders. Excessive and prolonged use of mobile and other devices have negative consequences on our relationship, health, and well-being. With technological advancement, a large number of people have become dependent on the digital devices, which are adversely affecting the quality of real life relationship with friends and family. The overuse of technology is linked to an increase in mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and stress. Recent study have revealed addiction often lead to the feeling of loneliness and isolation if we are not very careful. Cyber criminal cases associated with online games and gambling are increasing the risk of theft, fraud, and robbery. According to a recent statistics, a large number of online gaming and gambling crimes are being reported every day across the world. Another noteworthy issue of the impact of technology is the rise of cyberbullying. Online form of bullying is an act performed by an individual or clan with intent to hurt others over the internet using electronic devices like computers, laptop, mobile. Anonymous people by online platform provoke individuals to engage in harmful behavior. The digital world provides anonymity which may give rise to cyberbullying. One recent statistics indicate victims of online harassment often experience increased level of stress, anxiety, and social isolation. It is important if we should utilize the power of digital technology positively. Creating a healthy relationship with technology has a positive impact on mental health. It is important to prioritize self-care with adequate sleep, physical activity, and maintaining real-world connections. Taking periodic breaks from digital devices in a disciplined manner will help in maintaining good mental health and quality of life. A large number of digital wellness apps and online strategies may be used to keep track and limit screen time while promoting healthier devices uses habit. Based on the research finding, it is suggested that limiting the use of social media for approximately 30 minutes a day can significantly improve well-being and reduce symptoms of loneliness and depression. All those who are required to work or study online must take regular breaks from their devices by implementing screen-free time in their routine life. Digital literacy is required to protect oneself from the adverse consequences of digital victimization and cyberbullying. Mental health professionals can provide guidance, therapy, and support tailored to individual needs and requirements. As we navigate the digital world, it is important to develop healthy habits into our daily routine. By practicing mindfulness, setting social media boundaries, seeking social support when needed, we can maintain healthy balance between our digital life and mental health. With these brief introductory remarks about the thrust of the conference, I wish all success for the seminar. In this conference, we are going to hear insightful and scholarly address from eminent academicians and contributors to this conference. We are confident that the conference outcome will add to our knowledge base and deliberation will enlighten us all. Thank you all for gracing the inaugural ceremony.
Thank you very much, sir, for the briefing. Now I request Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to address the August gathering with a welcome elocution. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Chief guest and keynote speaker for this inaugural session, respected Professor Vidhu Mohanji, Dr. Dinesh Nagar, Dr. Santosh Dhar, all other colleagues, deans, directors, faculty members, delegates, and my dear young friends. At the outset, I would like to welcome our chief guest and all those who have joined this inaugural session. I would like to congratulate Dr. Dinesh Nagar and his team for choosing a very appropriate theme for MANOPRABHA 2024, covering two major variables or components of our day-to-day life: mental health and quality of life. Both are very important variables. And in our day-to-day life, we have to deal with both. On one hand, there has to be a balance so far as the health is concerned. On the other hand, quality of life should improve from day to every day. There are many problems which have emerged, some of them because of misuse of technology, some of them because of other reasons. Say, some authors have already indicated that India has become capital for depression. In other words, the largest number of depression cases are found in India. Depression is the leading cause of disability for those aged 15 to around 45 years of age. When our mental health is not so good, it can have a devastating impact on the quality of life. So there is a direct association between mental health, state of mental health, and the quality of life, which can prevent us from completing even the most basic daily tasks. But what can we do, or what can be done about it? How can we restore the balance in our life and improve the quality of life? So that is the question. And that is why this conference, so that we get solutions, how to address this kind of problem. Quality of life pertains to an individual's comfort, health, and ability to engage in everyday life and the enjoyment of life events. So one should live happily. So happiness is what is important. If a person is not living happily, their question arises, why one is not happy? Quality of life centers around certain facets of overall health and well-being, such as, say, mental health, emotional health, material, social well-being, environmental well-being, financial well-being, and physical well-being or physical health. The true meaning of quality of life can vary from one individual to another, depending on what one feels or makes, what makes one truly happy and fulfilled. This fulfilledness in life is important. Contentedness is important, and ultimately happiness is important. For some, it may mean having a lot of money and material possessions, while others may only require the most basic of comforts in order to thrive and feel satisfied. A person's quality of life is also affected by the environment in which he or she lives. It is subjective, as each person's unique socioeconomic background and circumstances heavily influence what he or she considers to be good or bad. People with a disability may have poor physical health, but if all of their basic needs, such as food, shelter, socialization, and ongoing medical care are being met, they may describe themselves as having a good quality of life. People who base all of their happiness on their job, their relationship, or their material goods can suffer a tremendous setback if they lose their job suddenly, their relationship ends, or their material possessions are destroyed. Mental health can also heavily influence a person's perception of his or her quality of life. Mental illnesses such as anxiety can make an individual's day-to-day life seem so hectic and so overwhelming that they seldom participate. Likewise, a condition like depression makes a person to believe that that there is nothing good in this life, and one should not even bother. Mental health can be situational, meaning it is highly dependent on certain areas of an individual's life, like their job and relationship. But it is most often due to issues within one's genetics or family upbringing. Many families have a history of mental problems that they may not seek treatment for. When mental health is not properly addressed, the problem will continue to grow until it is just a matter of time before a total mental breakdown occurs. Mental health components can come from many different areas in a person's life, such as sexual abuse, loss of a loved one, chronic pain, physical disability, social loneliness, childhood abuse, trauma, neglect, unemployment or job loss or loss of job, domestic abuse, bullying, and so on and so forth. In addition to these causes, mental health issues can also stem from brain disorders like seizures or from a traumatic head injury. Alcohol and drug use can also contribute to the onset or worsening of mental health problems. Having a high level of stress over a long period of time or being a long-term caregiver to someone else can contribute to increased mental health concerns. Socioeconomic inequalities are a leading cause for a decline in mental health status. The social disadvantages of living in proximity or in massive debt can be a cause of mental health deterioration, as well as homelessness or a lack of safe and affordable housing for those with lower incomes. One issue on its own is enough to severely affect an individual's mental health. But in most cases, one issue leads to another and another until it snowballs out of control. If a person cannot get a good enough handle on one situation, or if he is not able to manage, he or she is not able to manage one situation, it is likely to lead to more problems down the road and cause the individual to spiral deeper into mental turmoil. So these are various reasons which affect our mental health, and in turn, the quality of life. In fact, they depend on, they affect each other. Mental health, the state of mental health affects the quality of life, and the quality of life affects the state of mental health. But more needs to be understood. Though as I mentioned, some people believe that more richer a person is, better is going to be the mental health. But that has been disproved through a number of research publications which are available, which in general try to prove that material benefits can affect the state of quality, the quality of life, or the state can affect the state of mental health to a certain extent. But then after that, it has no impact. So it is like a inverted U. It may help, or quality of quality of life may improve to a certain extent. Similarly, mental health may improve to a certain extent with material possessions. But then a point comes when it starts showing no effect. In fact, it may even decline. As we generally say, that there are people who are very rich, they can afford anything, but they are not happy. Why? But there are certain people at the same time who do not have everything. They are having their minimum requirements, basic requirements are fulfilled. They are not rich, but their basic requirements are fulfilled. They are happy. So there is a riddle which needs to be understood. These two, the relationship between these two, mental health and quality of life, needs to be understood. That's why I congratulated Professor Dinesh Nagar for choosing this theme. There is a lot to explore and understand in the right context. Situation has a very important role. Situation has been changing. See, today, as Dr. Nagar was mentioning, we have technology. Technology has certainly, without any doubt, contributed to the quality of life across the world. But at the same time, misuse of the technology has led to problems. Whether it is mobile phone or it is any kind of technology, if it is overused, if it is wrongly used, if it is, I would say, misused, it has affected the state of mental health very negatively. Therefore, steps need to be taken so that a right balance is worked out. What are those steps? One is what we already know, which is available in the literature, but then what new, what kind of researches are happening today, say particularly in Indian context? Since it's an international conference and we have been getting people from other countries also in past, we can know the state from other, what is happening, what kind of studies are being conducted in other countries. See, I remember one international conference which I was attending, and one person from Turkey was presenting the paper. And he started with this, that technology has done a lot of damage to the social fabric. Then he went further. How? He said at that time, this conference was happening in 2012 or 2011, December 2011. He said, see, there is a family sitting in the same room, but husband is busy with laptop, wife is busy with the mobile phone in the same room. Child or son or daughter is doing anything, is using some other gadget. So they are in the same room, but they are not communicating with each other. That communication chain has broken. Even there are instances when somebody is to be called in the same building, say maybe son or daughter is studying in first floor. So traditionally would simply call him. But today what is happening, mobile phone is used. You come down for the breakfast. And then there are instances, all the small family, today we have small families, nuclear families sitting on the table, dining table for breakfast. Sitting on the same table, but they are not communicating. Everybody is busy with either laptop or mobile or any other gadget or device. So that's how he tried to prove that how this technology has damaged the social fabric, the network, family system. And that time he quoted that the number of divorces have increased in his country. That was Turkey. Now, if we assess it today, the situation has not changed. In fact, it has worsened. But wherever technology is used appropriately, to the extent it should be used, people are happy. The quality of life is definitely better. So we need to understand more about it. So I'm sure that during this conference, we will have many papers which will be sharing their findings with all the delegates. And above all, we have respected Professor Vidhu Mohan. She is a great psychologist. She's a great ex-psychologist. In fact, known as Eysenck of India. She has done a lot of work on personality. And she will be sharing her wisdom with all of us. And I'm sure that we will be wiser by the end of the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your insightful deliberation about the mental health. A distorted mental health may affect adversely even the economy of a nation. A wealthy nation need not be happy, and a happy nation need not be wealthy. Now, it's time to release the footprints of the MANOPRABHA 2024 by releasing the conference souvenir Manodarpan. May I request technical team to the needful. Thank you, technical team. It's time for me to take the pride and privilege of introducing the chief guest, Dr. Vidhu Mohan, a university gold medalist in psychology. Madam has more than 40 years of experience in teaching and research with 250 plus publications, 22 book chapters, 16 tests constructed and validated, 41 PhD theses supervised. She is a member in postgraduate and undergraduate board of studies in 10 universities and research degree committees in various universities. She used to provide her services as an expert of psychology for the prestigious Union Public Service Commission, Punjab Public Service Commission, Himachal Pradesh Service Commission, NCERT, and UGC. She is a consultant for behavioral science at Himachal Pradesh Academy and Mahatma Gandhi State Institute of Public Administration. She is founder behavior science trainer for ITBP, CRPF, and CISF. These are paramilitary forces of India. Bangkok Salon, trainer in Commonwealth Asia Pacific Center. She is expert in Ministry of Social Welfare, Prison Department, Shramik Vidyapeeth, NISD, CISF, State Police, UT Chandigarh, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, trainer of self-growth skills nationally and internationally in academic institutions, government organizations, industries, bank, United Nations and UNICEF, Bangkok, Ceylon, Nepal, and Bhutan. She was conferred with Lifetime Achievement Award for Psychology in 2015 by the National Association of Psychological Science. Women of Substance Award by Empower and ODS in 2017. Biography in a book, Panchkula Ke Prakash Tham, a book on 10 celebrities on Panchkula 2018, released by the Governor Haryana. Today, we are honored to have with us a fine amalgamation of a teacher, a researcher, a counselor, a trainer, and a behavioral science consultant. Over to you, madam. We welcome you at MANOPRABHA 2024. Madam, unmute yourself. Unmute. Yeah.
Good morning to everybody. Namaskar to everybody. Namaskar to everybody. I would first of all like to congratulate both Dr. Dhar, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Nagar, who has honored this whole program and made it possible. I think this is the need of the day. It is something I was telling him, it is something which was so dear to my heart. And I used to wonder how, as a counselor, how can I spread this message to people that please, technology should be your tool, not your master. And I'm very happy that in both Dr. and your lecture, you have brought forth the necessity for well-being, quality of mental health, good life, and happiness. And use technology, yes, use it when you want, but not to the cost of your well-being, not at the cost of your mental health. But what is happening is Dr. Daz also has rightly brought this to mind that there is so much of illness, so much of mental health. And as a counselor, I come across people who come to tell me, Madam, रात को नींद नहीं आती, क्या करें? दिन को ये नहीं होता. All sorts of issues are there. So I think this topic that you have chosen is just the right thing. And I think all over the country, newspapers should bring forth the good things that you are communicating through this. I would like to shift to my PowerPoint.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all hot, right?
Yes, yes. You can go ahead, madam. It's legible, clearly.
I'd like to ask you, can you see my?
Yes, yes, yes. It is legible, madam. You can go ahead.
I can. You
Yes,
can,
yes.
so?
Yes, you can go ahead, madam.
Okay. This I think I'm not going to read it or repeat it. You have already mentioned about technology and what it has done to us, and I think Dr. Nagar had given a very good historical background to all this. Yes, technology no doubt has made life easy also. Medical profession, AI has come into the picture and they are doing diagnosis of cancer through that. These are the positive things that the science has given to us, the technology has given to us, no doubt about it. And the digital advancement, you have all mentioned, that everything is at your doorstep, at your hand, in your mobile, in your laptop. Okay, fine. But does it give you happiness and does it give you peace of mind? That is very important. Yes, it is a good, I should say, tool, a slave, something, a servant that you can call it. But it should never be a master. But as Dr. Dhar rightly said that people come at the dining table and with their laptop and with their mobile and nobody is talking to each other. The interpersonal communication has gone. And as a counselor, I also have experienced there's a lot of agony and there's a lot of depression and unhappiness and a lot of breakup of marriages and breakup of relationships. And not only marriage, parents, child, the child doesn't talk to parents, the parents don't talk to the child, and they give money because money is very important. Okay, take money, beta, and go and have your celebration of a birthday. And I have read at least 3-4 cases in the newspaper that they went to a restaurant, they started fighting, and ultimately they killed the person who was celebrating the birthday. I said, is this celebration of birthday? That this is what technology has led you to this. Is it really good? Yes, of course. For researchers, everything is at your hand. You just open Google, you open anything, and all material is there. And I remember the last person who did her PhD with me, I used to read this code. I said, what are you writing? You're just copying from the Google or something and showing me the work. Give me your ideas. What you have discovered in this thing. Again, what she would do, she would go and take the paragraph and translate the paragraph in her own words and bring it back to me. But is this your thinking? It's not your thinking. So, what are we doing? Are we knowledge has it come into your hand? As a academician, a lot of knowledge is coming to your hand, but are you giving your own mind to it? Are you doing your work? So plagiarism is there. The plagiarism has been covered by translating those words into simple language or in a different language, but giving the same idea. It is not your ideas which are coming to the fore. I mean, you are not creating Einstein, you are just creating some people who are taking things from the, what shall I say, AI, Google, and these things, and putting it together and saying, this is my work, this is not your work. And I'm very much tempted to say that towards the end, especially Japan, um, nuclear bombing had taken place by that time. And Einstein said, science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. How true it was. Can you really use science without morality, without ethics, without your value system? This is not possible. If you do that, I think I agree with the you are doing this service to yourself and this to the humanity as such. So now, this again, I've just repeated what has been already said, that quality of life means that your mental and physical health is there, your values are there, your happiness is there in the family, and you are enjoying being in your own family. I think at the moment a child clears 12th, they are on the lookout. I want to go to Canada, I want to go to USA, and further away from the family. And I've also seen the parents dying and the dead body is kept there and the child comes, आग लगाई, खत्म किया, दूसरे दिन ही चौथा कर दिया. I said, they don't even want to remember their parents for a day. So is this what we are gaining out of this advancement? So advancement should inculcate a better quality of life. Better quality means when you are happy from within yourself. You're not depressed and you are not running away from life. And self-growth and well-being should be there. Now, I will just give very briefly what things have really troubled me a lot, like cyber stalking. Plenty. I'm not going to repeat, already things have been said about that. Online harassment. And in this, sexual harassment is there. Girl is hooked and then she is called and she has made to pay off some amount, or this the person who is torturing her says that I'll put you on the viral. Your photograph will be on the viral and you will commit suicide or something like that. Is that what we want from technology? And people who are a little ignorant about rules and internet safety, like I find my maid, she is really good. She has bought a mobile of 24,000. I said, my God, where is the poverty? And where is all these things that I talked about? If you can buy a mobile for 24,000. And then I said, kya kar sakte hai isme jo kar-" She knew nothing about the safety, the rules and regulations, nothing. So I said, इसमें से तुमको लोग बेवकूफ भी बना सकते हैं, तुम्हारा पैसा भी खा सकते हैं. लेकिन वो किसी से पूछ लूंगी, and things like that. And cyber fraud is there. There is so much of this sort of fraud. The extortion is there every day in the newspaper. At least there are, I think, 7, 8, 10 cases of this sort of extortion. And then there is digital arrest. And in digital arrest, one of my relatives, elderly person, he was cheated of 7 lakhs of rupees by saying that I am so and so, some authority, like a police wala or a lawyer or some judge or something like that, and saying that your son will be in trouble if you don't pay this thing. So the person just, and they said, don't tell to anybody. If you tell to anybody, your son is gone. Poor thing. He paid 7 lakh rupees. And then he discovered, he reported to the police and all, and they discovered that this thing was taking, not in Chandigarh, it was taking place in Bihar. So distance was no consideration because technology has covered up that distance. And they were sitting in Bihar and doing all these sorts of things. So who are being affected most by this thing? Females. Because even now, literacy is a little lacking with females. They have done wonderfully well. They are scoring higher than boys in their 10th, their 12th grade, and medical profession and engineering also. They're doing very well. But still, there are a lot of women who are still made to feel that women are one down. आदमी की नीचे है. So children who have a mobile, because I find parents giving a 2-year-old child a mobile. अच्छा क्या कर रहे हो? As a parent, you are doing something very, very wrong to your child. They are doing this कि नहीं बच्चा तंग करता है अदरवाइज इससे खेलता रहता है. ऐसे तो खेलता रहता है तो look, by 6 years, so many children, if you go to school, they are with specs. I said, what are you doing? Are you giving help to your child or are you giving bad eyes to the child? Then elderly people, like I told you, that my relative was in 80s, and so he was cheated for that money. And then emotionally weak people. There are lots of people who are not strong enough to say no. And yesterday some people came over and they were talking about this, that women are being harassed when they're in the bus, or women are being harassed sexually when they are going in the auto or I mean, those are called a weaker sex, and they can be emotionally exploited through digital technology also. Now, this means the privacy is invaded because sometimes you read in the newspaper that the boys took some vulgar pictures of the girls in a hotel. I remember they used to write me and put me in sort of 5-star hotels and things like that. They said, please check the toilet. They put a camera over there and they take your photograph without your knowledge. So my God, when I used to go to the this is your privacy is being invaded through technology, and then this photograph is being circulated. This is viral हो गया, and viral होके उसके बाद लड़की को क्या हुआ? लड़की ने suicide commit कर दिया. So is this what we want through technology? Surely not. We don't want this. Then cheap web hosting. Of course, I would say what we are doing now, that also is web hosting. But this is a positive web hosting that we are talking about things that can go wrong with people and how well can we channelize our life to lead a quality of life, well-being, mentally healthy life. But this cheap web hosting is being misused by students, by people who are doing research, by people who are doing PhD, going to the web, finding out things, copying things, and maybe they are not doing it verbatim because that is plagiarism, but they're translating, but they're not giving their own thoughts to it. They're not using their own mind. So what is happening is they are putting effort. इसको हम कहते हैं मक्खी पे मक्खी मार लो, कोई effort ही नहीं करना. You are not using your mind, you are not using your effort to do this thing. I'll just give you one example. Again, some of my last PhDs, what they were doing, they were going to computer, and of course, all calculation and all used to be done by some expert, and then they would bring the result. And I said, no, table बनाओ. तो टेबल कैसे बनाए? मैंने कहा करके जो आए तो टेबल तो बनाओ ना. टेबल कौन बनाएगा? वो तो मैं आता नहीं. तो मैंने कहा कि तुम्हें आता क्या है? तुमने वो देख लिया, तुम्हारे पास इतना बड़ा जन्म पत्र आ गया, अब इसको क्या करोगे? ओके, नहीं मैडम आप बता दो. मैंने कहा फिर मैडम के पास है ना जिसने हाथ से काम किया हुआ है. मैंने कहा फॉर माय पीएचडी I had to calculate 300 correlation, product movement correlation, and I did this with my hand. So today, I'm very much conversant with statistics. ANOVA, I used to do so many 4-factor ANOVA, 5-factor ANOVA with hand. All these statistical techniques were done by hand. So at this age also, I feel very confident with my statistical outcome. So when I converted her picture, I said, you cannot get a negative relation in this sort of a data. This thing is wrong. नहीं मैडम कंप्यूटर ने किया, कंप्यूटर ने किया है। मैंने कहा कंप्यूटर ने किया है, लेकिन तुमने क्या किया? कहते show me the raw data में देखा तो क्या था? Where 0.01 had to be put, you were putting 1.01. मैंने कहा तो रिजल्ट कैसे आएगा जब तुम ये कर रही हो? Do the data all over again. Good. मैडम आप तो कंप्यूटर से ऊपर हो। मैंने कहा हाँ, क्योंकि मैंने हाथ से काम किया हुआ है ना, तो अपना दिमाग लगा के किया हो, इसलिए तुम चलो जा रही हो मैकेनिकली करके ला रही हो। तो दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग। करते ही नहीं, दिमाग से सोचना ही नहीं है, बस क्या तरह कर लो। And sometimes they send me thesis for evaluation, and the last thesis I got, उसके बाद I sometimes many thesis evaluate कर सकती। You know, in that particular thesis, that person, I mean the woman, had used T-ratio, ANOVA, correlation, multiple regression। I said ये जब सारी चीजें थी उसमें कंप्यूटर में दी हुई तो हमने सब यूज कर लें। मैंने कहा इसका लिंक तो बताओ, इसका मतलब क्या है? तुमने किया। आप सोच सकते हैं कि आप एक तरफ ANOVA लगा रहे हैं, एक तरफ आप मल्टीपल कोरिलेशन लगा रहे हैं, उसका मतलब क्या हुआ? तो एफर्ट खत्म हो गया है, मैकेनिकल हो गए हम। और ठीक है, पेपर बहुत सारे पब्लिश हो जाते हैं, and fortunately or unfortunately UGC has made that condition that if you want to be promoted you must have so many papers. So when I go for selection committees, I find it pathetic. They come for at least this much bundle of publications and whatnot. I said, in 1 year, how many publications? About 20 publications. मैंने कहा तुमने गन्ने का रस लगाने वाली मशीन लगाई हुई थी, 20 पेपर्स हो गए। मैंने कहा in my time, if I published 4 or 5 papers in a year, I used to pack my bag. मैंने कहा पर तुमने तो हद ही कर दी। At this age also, my last paper came in 23, 1 paper in a year. Data collection, analysis, then thinking about it, then doing the results, and then interpreting the result. It takes time. So the effort has gone. Mechanically, things are being done. And then I was very happy that you talked about Dr. Dhar and Dr. Nagarpur about social distancing. Yes, there is social distancing. And because everything is online, and rightly, as Dr. Dhar said, at the dining table also, you are not communicating with each other. And as a counselor, people used to come to me. I remember a very good doctor, good private firm. He was earning well. His wife was also a doctor, earning well, and they were on the verge of divorce. And they came, and I said, I want that you should. One person should talk, the person should listen and tell me. So they're all right. They took out their mobile, and the wife was mobiling to husband and the husband was mobiling to the wife. I said, ये क्या कर रहे हो? मैंने कहा है कि एक दूसरे से बात करो। तो said, give your mobile, give your mobile. दोनों को मोबाइल दे दिए। अब चुप हो गए। They had nothing to talk because mobile had been taken away. And then I asked the wife, I said, तुम्हें क्या प्रॉब्लम? कहते आते हैं, अपना लैपटॉप लेके बैठ जाते हैं, मैं कुछ जरूरी बात करना चाहती हूँ, and he's busy with his laptop. He doesn't listen to me. Then I trained the doctor, male doctor, in listening skills, because counseling means listening, listening, and listening. And I made him do exercises because I'm a trainer, so I do things in practical. I made him do that, and I said, now go back and practice this and come back and tell me. तो फिर हाँ बहुत मुश्किल हो रही है ये करने में। मैंने पर करना तो पड़ेगा, मोबाइल मुझे दे जाओ और ये करो। करा करा करा। I said, you get back to me. फोन पे मुझे बता दो क्या तुम। 1 week went away, nothing. I said, मर गए। I think they've gone in for the war. And then phoned him up with lot of doubt in my mind कि कहीं उड़ तो नहीं गई बात। He said, man, we are having a second honeymoon. I said, तो मुझे बताया क्यों नहीं? मैं तो परेशान हो रही हूँ कि क्या हो गया तुम्हें। मैंने कहा क्या हुआ? कहते I practiced those listening skills and my wife is very happy and we are having the second honeymoon. So if you have communication with each other, the family doesn't break, life continues. लड़ भी लेते हैं, झगड़ भी लेते हैं, प्यार भी कर लेते हैं. Love is very important and love doesn't come through mobile. It doesn't come through laptop. It comes through direct communication. We are missing that. And this is not only just family. Now, I remember when we were younger in the Punjab University, I'm Punjab University, not Punjabi University. So in the neighborhood, अगर किसी के सिर में दर्द भी जाती थी तो we all would go to that person. क्या हो गया आपको, क्या हो गया, हम can we for you and send you meal वगैरह हम खाना भेज देते थे ताकि उनको तकलीफ ना हो, things like that. And our children used to play together. अभी भी बड़े लोग याद करते हैं कि those were very nice times that we were playing together. Now, what do the children do of teenage or before teenage? They sit on the mobile and play games. And they sit on a mobile or laptop and they see pornography. And how I discovered that? I also started my computer a long time back. And people used to say, हमारी उम्र में तो कोई ये नहीं करता, आप करते? मैंने कहा हाँ करती हूँ, क्या उनको पढ़ाना, तो नई जमाने के साथ चलना है. So I just opened and I was shocked to find lot of blue films and pornography coming. I said, my God, मैंने तो ये करा नहीं. मैं डॉक्टर से क्या कर रही हूँ? मैंने कहा मैं तो कभी खून से नहीं, I don't even know कि ये कहाँ से देता. By itself they were sending that pornography. फिर मैंने तो डिलीट किया, बैकअप किया. But imagine अगर मुझे ये चीज आ रही है, मैं समझदार हूँ, मैंने उसको डिलीट कर दिया because I knew it was rubbish. What about children? Nehru Yuva Kendra, people used to invite me to teach, improve their teachers by through psychological means and things like that. So I said, okay, I would like you teachers to do 1 week of counseling so that they can look after the children much better. Now, during that session, I said, आप बच्चों से बात करके देखने कि वो क्लासरूम के बाद जब हॉस्टल में होते हैं तो क्या करते हैं. And I found, थोड़ी सी मैंने जासूसी करके फाइंड कर दिया था that the children, what they were doing? They were contacting a peon, a mali, who also had, laptop and he was, मतलब ये चीजें रखते दिखाते हैं. और आप माली हैं, आप पेन हैं, और वो ब्लू फिल्म लाते थे और ब्लू फिल्म लाके उनसे पैसे लेते थे लड़कों से, उनको ब्लू फिल्म दिखाते थे. एंड देन द बॉय यूज्ड टू जंप टू द गर्ल्स हॉस्टल एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. तो टीचर कहते नहीं नहीं जी, हाँ हाँ हाँ, तो सारा वार्डन, हम सब वार्डन है, हम सब लुक आफ्टर करते हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. I said, I'm now giving you this information. This happens. Now go and check. They had a very big, beautiful screen. Just they used to show their PowerPoint and all reading material and all things like that. This was wonderful. I said, you are using technology during the daytime. What are they doing at night time? Seeing blue films and then going to the. So after doing counseling for a week with me in sex education, I used to teach sex education. I said, don't shun away from that. It is education. It's not teaching them how to do sex. So then next session, next time when they came about 6 months back, 6 months after this thing, I said, how are things? I said, things have changed a lot. The students started respecting us. They stopped seeing the blue films. When I could see the change. Technology can give you rubbish also. Technology can give you wonderful things also. So take the wonderful thing, not whether rubbish that is coming in that. And then misuse of nuclear energy. We are still sitting on the brink of nuclear energy. Look at Russia, look at Ukraine, look at Israel. They are all ready to use nuclear energy. But imagine, it is not Hiroshima, Nagasaki, that they have, and after that, Japan changed their whole way of life. But if Russia uses nuclear energy in Ukraine, won't the entire Europe be affected? And till now, Bhopal with nuclear tragedy, people are suffering from diseases due to that nuclear energy. Japan perhaps changed their way of living because of the nuclear energy. So, हम nuclear energy से cancer भी ठीक कर लेते हैं. Nuclear energy can do so many good things also to us. But if we use it for killing people, then what is happening? Disaster. Now, these days you find There are so many gangs of terrorists, all sorts of terrorists, and they are blaming religion. Religion is not something which is rituals. Religion is a way of life. It's a philosophy of life. And each religion, I've done just a very small comparative work on this, and let me share something with you that you see, Bhagavad Gita people used to read just as they read the Bible or Quran Sharif, but nobody had done any research work on Bhagavad Gita. And about 30 years back, I said, my God, Bhagavad Gita has given so much to us, but we have not tested these things. So I did work on chapter 14 and chapter 17, Trigun, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. And you will be surprised that when I published that paper in ResearchGate, 3,000 people are reading only that paper again and again and again and again. Because if we live a sattvic life, I've done work on rats also with that sattvic bhojan, tamasic bhojan, and rajasic bhojan. The rats which were given sattvic bhojan, they were not aggressive. Socially, they were not attacking each other. And when we did learning on maze running, those sattvic bhojan rats were doing faster. They were doing better. But the rats who were getting tamasic and rajasic bhojan, they were attacking each other, fighting each other, and tamasic would go to sleep, not do any work. So imagine if this can happen, how much we have to learn through our own shastra and things like that, and to go into positive things. So nuclear energy also, if you are using it for positivity, if you are using it for care, all right, wonderful. But if we are using it for killing people and using arms and ammunition, again, very, very, very scientifically made. And look at what is happening in Kashmir. The terrorism doesn't come to an end. But after 370 went away, I used to keep on going to, they used to invite me to go there. The last time that I went, I saw burnt houses, Pakistan ke झंडे and on. And then they said, आप shopping करने जाएंगी लाल बाग चली, लाल बाग लेके गए मुझे वहाँ like chalk, not like chalk. And while I was looking at things, and suddenly there were gunshot. And they that was my last experience. And last year, my children and all, they went, they said, oh, it was so wonderful, बहुत अच्छा था, मैंने shopping करी, घूमे फिरे. Things have changed. Because if you, and I think to some extent people are of course, against Modi also. Modi ji has done one thing. He believes in peace. सब जगह जाके जिसमें भी जाते हैं वो पीस में ज्यादा बात करते हैं और वो ये कहते हैं कि अगर हम लड़ाई करते रहेंगे तो क्या फायदा होगा, क्या फायदा कुछ नहीं होगा. आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट आई लाइक वन थिंग अबाउट इट. तो न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी का ये मैं आपसे शेयर कर रही हूँ. अब मैं आ रही हूँ वेलबींग पे जो सबने बात की है. व्हाट इज वेलबींग? Well-being and true happiness go hand in hand. I will repeat this again and again. Happiness is a state of mind. And in that state of mind, what are you doing? You are trying to get to know yourself, understand yourself. You are going for mental well-being. And in mental well-being, क्या आपको मिलता है? Tranquility, शांति, peace of mind, and satisfaction, contentment. There's a very beautiful doha है. गोधन गजदन बाजदन और रतन धन खान जब आए संतोषवान सब धन धूरी समान. And I think Professor Dar also mentioned this thing. So money doesn't get you everything. Okay, to some extent, you do need some amount of money to be able to live comfortably. And again, there is a saying, दाता इतना दीजिए जिसमें कुटुंब समाये, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, साधु भी भूखा ना जाए. And in all the शास्त्र, चाहे वो कुरान शरीफ हो, चाहे बाइबल हो, चाहे भगवद गीता हो, चाहे रामायण हो, सब में ये होता है जो आप कमा रहे हो उसका एक हिस्सा आप चैरिटी में जरूर दो, आप लोगों को जरूर दो. और आपको यादगार लोग कब देते हैं? जब टाटा जैसे लोग, रतन टाटा जैसे लोग मरते हैं, जिन्होंने जब वो 8 नवंबर का हुआ था बॉम्बे में था, उन्होंने अपने सारे वर्कर्स को और दिया था।
सर आए थे मेरे पास डिटेल्स मेरे को देनी इसमें, तो सर इसमें ये पॉइंट थोड़ी जाएगा इस बार।
हाँ जी, कुछ मुझे कह रहे हैं।
No, no, madam. Please continue.
नहीं,
Please
नहीं,
continue.
please continue.
Please continue.
टाटा रतन को लोगों ने पूजा करिए, कितना बड़ा धर्माधार अपनी बड़ी जिनसे सीख नहीं सकती। लेकिन क्या आप आज अंबानी की पूजा करते हैं, अदानी की पूजा करते हैं? नहीं, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ अपने लिए जीते हैं। अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए। लेकिन आजकल क्या हो रहा है, मनी इज द थिंग। जिसमें अमर्त्य सेन का नाम जरूर आपने सुना होगा, द नोबेल प्राइज विनर। मैं बस सिर्फ यही सेंटेंस कहना चाहती हूँ, he said as the saying goes, money can't buy happiness। मतलब उसने भी ये कहा, इकोनॉमिस्ट था, he said money can't buy you happiness। और बाकी भी अदर कंट्रीज which go for freedom of independence, they call one thing, just citizens who are better quality of life citizens। तो अगर वो नहीं कह सकता है नोबेल प्राइज विनर, तो दैट मीन्स अ लॉट। फिर है कि हैप्पीनेस, आई एम वेरी ग्लैड कि आपने मैंने हैप्पीनेस की बात की थी। मैं क्योंकि साइकोलॉजी में आई फील के साइकोलॉजी हैज लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स टू गिव। मेंटल हेल्थ देता है, हैप्पीनेस देता है, काउंसलिंग में आपकी एडजस्टमेंट देता है टू लाइफ। तो व्हाट इज हैप्पीनेस? वी शुड आस्क आवरसेल्फ। आप जितने लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं, आस्क योरसेल्फ हाउ हैप्पी आर यू। ये जो नई टेक्नोलॉजी के दौर में से आप गुजर रहे हैं, हाउ हैप्पी आर यू? Does it also apply to your family, friends, and other people at work? Are you friendly with them? Are you happy with them? I don't think many people will be able to say, yes, we are happy. Because I've seen that in the street, they used to call me, and in the fast industry, they were making medicines. दवाइयाँ बना रहे थे. So I said to the GM, the HRD, I said, you will not interfere for 2 months. I will do training program on them. The first day, they were sitting separately, finance on one side, production on one side, people who were going and propagating other side, advertisement, all the departments sitting very separately, and at the time, again separately, they were not talking to each other. They were using wonderful technology. Then after third week, there was a little get together, थोड़ा सा मिल रहे थे, पैसे वाले दूसरों से मिल रहे थे, प्रोडक्शन वाले भी बात कर रहे थे, कुछ हो रहा था. And after 4 weeks of training, when the GM came and she joined the team, he said, आपने क्या जादू कर दिया है, तो सारे बातें कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे के साथ. मैंने कहा भी ठहरिए, ये 2 महीने पूरे जाने दीजिए. मैंने कहा I want your growth of production when I started. And 6 months after my training. तो जब खत्म हो गया तो उस दिन देखने वाला था, ऐसे गले मिल रहे हैं, प्यार कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं. मैंने इनको मेडिटेशन रूम में भी ले जाके कराती थी, सब कुछ कराती थी. बट आई टॉट देम कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स. I taught them listening to each other. I taught them to relate to each other and to work for each other. When they started working for each other, कोई problem ही नहीं. Finance वाला became more considerate, production वाला, recruitment वाला भी अपना इकट्ठे मिलके काम कर रहे थे. After 6 months, from production being about 20%, it went to 60%. They said, आपने तो जादू कर दिया. मैं क्या नहीं, मैंने इनको सिर्फ अपने आप से इनकी पहचान कराई है. And that is important. आप टेक्नोलॉजी पूरी रखिए, मैं दवाइयां थोड़ी बनाना जानती थी, but what I did was through my psychology, I taught them to be happy together. What makes you happy? अब ये अपने आप से सवाल मुझे पूछना है. Try to identify what makes you happy. And here also maybe I'm taking a little long time, but I've done so many experiments as a trainer in Punjab Education Board. They wanted me to talk to the children on cheating. मैंने कहा अगर मैंने चीटिंग का वर्ड किया, सारे बोल के भाग जाएंगे, मैं चीटिंग का नाम नहीं लूंगी. Then I started them on happiness. I said, जब बताओ कब तुम हैप्पी होते हो? मैंने कहा जब नंबर ज्यादा आ जाते हैप्पी होते थे. हाँ जी रहते. मैंने कहा नंबर अगर थोड़ा सा इधर उधर देख के आए, मैं चीटिंग वर्ड नहीं यूज किया, इधर देख के आए तो ठीक है. कहते हैं हाँ जी ठीक तो होता है, आवाज थोड़ी नीचे होगी. मैंने कहा तो कब खुशी मिलती है? कहते जब हमारे अपने नंबर होते हैं. मैंने कहा बिल्कुल ठीक है, याद अपने नंबर होते हैं. फिर मैंने कहा अच्छा when do you really feel happy? किस चीज से आपको खुशी मिलती है? शराब पी के खुशी मिलती है? लोगों को तंग करके खुशी मिलती है? कहते नहीं, उस वक्त मिलती है पर बाद में हम दुख हो जाते हैं। तो मैं कब मिलती है? तो you'd be surprised कि ये बात नहीं कि 11वीं 12वीं के बच्चे खुद बोले when we do something good to others। अब मैं डिटेल में बता रही, उन्हें सब अपने अपने एपिसोड बताए कि ये हमने अच्छा किया, ये अच्छा किया, then we felt really happy। तो मैंने कहा हैप्पीनेस कब आती है? जब आप किसी और के लिए कुछ अच्छा करते हैं, ठीक है ना? This is vital to your attitude and your mood। Happiness is vital। If you are happy, you are in a good mood। तो फिर आपको डिप्रेशन नहीं होता, तो फिर आपको वो क्या होता है, स्विंग्स नहीं होते, कभी मूड कभी अच्छा हो गया कभी दुखी हो गया, ऐसा नहीं होता। एटीट्यूड आपका चेंज हो जाता है। And you are in a good mood of mind, so that leads to your happiness also। So happiness is a round circle। If you are happy, you have to be good also। You have to be helpful to people also। Now, happiness and well-being, they are handmaidens to each other। ट्रैंक्विलिटी, सेटिस्फैक्शन, ये सब चीजें इकट्ठी होती आ जाती हैं। तो हैप्पीनेस को हम निग्लेक्ट नहीं कर सकते। हैप्पीनेस इज अ स्टेट ऑफ माइंड। इट इज नॉट अ स्टेट ऑफ कलेक्टिंग मनी एंड लिविंग विद जस्ट मनी। मनी कैन गिव यू लॉट ऑफ ट्रबल आल्सो। आपको मैंने बताया कि बर्थडे मनाने गए, पेरेंट्स पैसे दे देते हैं। आजकल पेरेंट्स पैसे देते हैं तो होटल में जाकर खाओ, शराब पियो, कुछ करो, एक दूसरे से मारो। और 3-4 केसेस मैंने पढ़े हैं कि जिसमें बड़े बॉय को उन्होंने उड़ा दिया या किसी और को मार दिया, पार्टी में गए और ये करके आए। पहले होता था पेरेंट्स घर पे पार्टी करते थे, अपने बड़ों को भी, उनके माँ बाप को भी बुलाते थे। इट वाज टू बी फैमिली टू फैमिली, फैमिली टू फैमिली टुगेदर, and people used to enjoy। And since I am a psychologist, तो मैं अपनी बेटियों को, आप लोग सब जानते हैं, डॉक्टर चाची जी मेरे साथ आई थी उनके पास, उन्होंने भी प्रेजेंट किया था। उनके बच्चे आज भी याद करते हैं कि तुम्हारी पार्टी तुम भूलते ही नहीं। मैं उनको गेम्स खिलाती थी, एंजॉय कराती थी, खाना खुना खिलाती थी। एंड लड़के लड़कियां सब आते थे उसके अंदर, और किसी न किसी के साथ बदतमीजी नहीं की, बड़े होकर भी। तुम भी कभी कभी मिलते हैं, बात करते हैं, प्यार करते हैं, घर पे भी आके मिलते हैं। दैट कंटिन्यूड। वो पेरेंट्स अब आज वो कुछ नहीं करते, घर पे तो पार्टी करते ही नहीं। ये कौन एफर्ट करे, पका पकाया खाना खाओ, बाहर जाओ, मौज करो। दैट थिंग जो माँ को खुशी मिलती थी, मैंने बच्चे के लिए खाना बनाया, वो खत्म हो गई है। ढाबे से मंगाती वो कौन आता है, वो आपके जो फिरते रहते हैं खाना खिलाने वाले, वो खाना खिला दो। दिस इज अ स्टेट ऑफ माइंड विच गिव्स यू पीस टू योरसेल्फ, हैप्पीनेस टू योरसेल्फ। वो करेंगे तो आप वेलबींग तो ऑटोमेटिकली आएगा। दे आर हैंडमेड, वी गो विद ईच अदर। अब ये है कि ये सारी चीजें कहाँ से आती हैं? हमारी पर्सनैलिटी डेवलपमेंट से आती हैं। एंड दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड पर्सनैलिटी। अब ये मैं थोड़ा सा जल्दी करने लगी, मुझे लग रहा है टाइम काफी हो रहा है। ये पर्सनैलिटी का मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बताती हूँ कि इसकी भूमिका क्या है। सॉरी What is personality? Personality comes from the word persona। Persona is a mask। मास्क में क्या होता है, हम हमारी पर्सनैलिटी में एक्सटर्नल फसाद, दैट इज द मास्क, हम गुडी गुडी बन के रहते हैं, एंड देयर इज एन इंटरनल सेल्फ। आजकल के वर्ल्ड में लॉट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, लॉट ऑफ नेम फेम एंड मनी एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, बट यू डोंट लुक इनटू योर इंटरनल सेल्फ। एक्सटर्नली क्या कुछ है वो सारा गेम करो। Both are the results of interaction with others, but what interactions are we having? We are having interaction through technology। We are not actually sharing with each other। And but often we perceive ourselves through the eyes of others। वो क्या मेरे बारे में सोचता है, वो क्या मेरे बारे में करता है। इसका मतलब ये कि पर्सनैलिटी के बारे में हमको जानना चाहिए, तभी हम कुछ अच्छा करेंगे, तभी वेलबींग पे जाएंगे। तो दिस यूनिटी बैकग्राउंड के ये जो मैंने डेवलप किया है मॉडल सारा, दिस इज द रिजल्ट ऑफ अबाउट कॉमनवेल्थ का। मेरे इंट्रोडक्शन में कहा ना, for Commonwealth, I must have done this thing for about 10 years। Those people used to come from all 13, 14 countries. And on the first day, there were differences and things like that. Then the director came one day from London, and she said, what do you want? What can you give to them? I said, if you allow me, I'd like to do training program for personality development for them. And this would be once a week, once a week, once a week. On Saturday, I need the full Saturday. So when I did the program, after 2 months, they were blending with each other, sharing with each other. To begin with, you see, I'm not naming the country, some countries, the men who came from there, they felt that the women who have come over here, they are something to be played with. But the women used to feel very angry with them. So, things like that. After 2 months, this thing became peaceful आ गई, थोड़ी शांति आ गई इसमें. And then by the time 6 months used to be over, when they used to go back, they were empowered, there was no looking back. And वो क्या करती थी, ये अब चीजें आपको मैं दिखा रही हूँ, 5 areas. These 5 areas are areas of your development. Number one is your physical development. What do you do with your physics? क्या आप एक्सरसाइज करते हैं? क्या आप खाना ठीक खाते हैं? क्या आप सोते ठीक टाइम से हैं? या सारा टाइम इसमें बिताते हैं? भाई लैपटॉप लैपटॉप लैपटॉप. Today what is happening in industry में, they say okay you can work from home. So work from home, I am seeing people रात के 12 बजे भी पे काम कर रहे हैं, सुबह 5 बजे भी काम कर रहे हैं. उनका तो सो कर रहे हो, you see 7 घंटे सोना बहुत जरूरी है. खाना नहीं खा रहे, घर में खाना बनता ही नहीं है, बाजार से खाना आ जाता है. तो what are you doing with your physical self? बाजार का खाना नहीं है, आप मैदा खा रहे हैं, चीनी खा रहे हैं और तला हुआ खा रहे हैं. And all these things lead to obesity. और मेडिकल उसमें ओबेसिटी का आता है कि मोस्ट ऑफ योर इलनेसेस आर बिकॉज ऑफ ओबेसिटी. पैसा आपने कमा दिया, 3 लाख इनकम है, 5 लाख की इनकम है, ठीक है, महीने की आ गई, और उससे आपने किया क्या? अपने घर फिजिकल उसके लिए कुछ किया ना. देन मेंटल, मेंटल लोगों को लगता है नॉलेज बहुत सारी, गूगल में कितना देख लेते हो, पढ़ाई में कितनी चीटिंग करके नंबर आ जाते हो. व्हाट डू पेरेंट्स टेल योर चाइल्ड? नंबर आने चाहिए 90 से ऊपर, जैसे भी मर्जी आए. वो जैसे, मैंने कहा जैसे का क्या मतलब है? जैसे का मतलब है बच्चा चीटिंग करता है. और टेक्नोलॉजी चीटिंग का कितना फायदा. देखिए काम में आपने छोटा टिप्पू लगा दिया, सारा मटेरियल आपको वो बोलते जा रहे हैं, आप लिखते जा रहे हो. टेक्नोलॉजी, टेक्नोलॉजी इज डन, वी वांट टू चीट. इज दिस व्हाट वी नीड फ्रॉम टेक्नोलॉजी? Mental growth is when you understand things, you gain knowledge, you educate yourself. In education, it is not ratification, it is not cheating. In education, one of my teachers used to say, education is what is learned is forgotten. मतलब आपने रट्टा मार के अभी पानीपत की लड़ाई नहीं हुई थी, वो डेटा भूल गए, लेकिन पानीपत की लड़ाई क्यों करके क्या नुकसान किया, दैट यू रिमेम्बर. दैट इज नॉलेज एंड दैट इज एजुकेशन. तो मेंटल ग्रोथ जो है, अपने ग्रोथ करना, अपने माइंड को डेवलप करना, चीटिंग करके नहीं. वो एंड सोशल डेवलपमेंट, सोशल को तो हमने काट के एक तरफ कर दिया है. सोशल डेवलपमेंट का आई एंड यू एंड मी, how much I can give to you and how much you can give to me, वो खत्म हो गया. सोशल में when I should do the workshop, I used to say 3 words in English are very important. Please give me. आजकल मैंने देखा कि दूसरे होता चिपट्टा मार के खाना ले लेते हैं. नो प्लीज नथिंग. मैंने कहा दूसरा वर्ड होता थैंक यू. If somebody does something good to you, please turn around and say thank you. And तीसरा वर्ड है, that's most important. If you have done something wrong to somebody, say I'm sorry. कहता है कोई सॉरी ना, सॉरी तो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता. देन इकोनॉमिक, इकोनॉमिक फिर वो यार दाता इतना दीजिए जिसमें कुटुंब समाये, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, साधु भी भूखा ना जाए, मेरे पास इतना दीजिए कि हम कंफर्टेबली खा पी सकते हैं, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. छत है, कोई अंबानी की तरह 27 स्टोरी का घर नहीं बनाता. आई वंडर कैन अंबानी गो ऑल द 27 स्टोरीज एंड लिव आप कितने में करो? एक बेडरूम में है, सोचो एक डाइनिंग रूम चाहिए, एक लिविंग रूम चाहिए, बाथरूम होगा, ये चाहिए, छोटे दीजिए, उसमें भी आपका काम अच्छी तरह चलता है और आप मैनेज बेटर कर सकते हो. एंड अबव ऑल मॉरल डेवलपमेंट, एथिक्स. तो आइंस्टाइन ने कहा कि दिस थिंग, साइंस विदाउट रिलीजन इज लेम. तो अगर हम सिर्फ साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी कर रहे हैं और मॉरलिटी को छोड़ के, एथिक्स छोड़ के इन कर रहे हैं, तो इट इज लीन. तो हमें हैप्पीनेस नहीं आएगी. अगर बातों की इंटेग्रिटी हो, चाहे एनर्जी हो, इकट्ठा मिलके चले, तो वो ठीक होता है. अब इसके लिए वो मैं बता रही हूँ ना, कॉमनवेल्थ के लिए मैंने ये सेल्फ ग्रोथ स्किल का बाद में मॉडल डेवलप किया, इसको पब्लिक भी किया, तो इसके ऊपर मैं वर्कशॉप कराती रही। ये मुझे 10 साल लगे करते करते करते, और इसमें से नीचे जो कैरियर में 11 डायमेंशंस इमर्ज करी, और इससे मेंटल हेल्थ, वेलबीइंग, स्टेट ऑफ ट्रैंक्विलिटी, सेटिस्फैक्शन, हैप्पीनेस, दिस इमर्ज। एंड द पीपल हु वर ट्रेन्ड बाय मी इन कॉमनवेल्थ, व्हेन दे वेंट बैक टू देयर कंट्री, वी टॉप। अगर यूथ वेलफेयर में काम था तो यूथ वेलफेयर के टॉप में गए, एजुकेशन में काम था तो एजुकेशन में टॉप, बिकॉज दे वर एम्पावर्ड, they used to share happiness with people, they used to share love with people, and that brought them together. फिर इसको मैंने इंडस्ट्री में यूज करा, that I said okay, you have a manager, let me see what is the personality and quality of life of that manager. If he is a good leader, so good leader will lead in such a way that he will listen to people. I said there can be 4 styles of leadership. डंडा मारू अथॉरिटेरियन, डंडे से काम करो, शेयरिंग, और यू कैन से शेयरिंग में एक दूसरे की बात सुन लो। और तीसरा है नर्चरिंग, माली पौधे को नर्चर करता है तब पौधा अच्छा होता है, नर्चरिंग। और तीसरा है डेलीगेशन, क्या हम जो कॉम्पिटेंट आदमी है उसको डेलीगेट कर सकते हैं? वहां मेरा अहंकार आ जाता है, मैं क्यों दूं किसी को? जब हम उस अहंकार को कर लेते हैं काबू, तब हम डेलीगेट करते हैं, तब हम रतन टाटा बनते हैं। सो ये चीज जब मैं करा देती थी उनको, तो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन यूज्ड टू टेक प्लेस, उनकी प्रोडक्शन बेटर हो जाती थी। और एक कंपनी में मुझे बुलाया, मैंने ये लीडरशिप का सब कराया, तो मैंने उनके कहा, थे सीईओ जो भी थे, मैंने कहा अगर आपके ऐसे मैनेजर्स हैं ना तो थोड़े दिन में स्ट्राइक हो सकती है। कहता हाँ, तो तुमने करा दिया क्योंकि कराना होता है एचआर में ये काम। ठीक है, 4 महीने बाद दौड़े दौड़े मेरे पास फिर आए, मैंने कुछ करो कुछ करो, स्ट्राइक हो गई है। आपने कहा था ना कुछ होएगा गड़बड़, मैंने कहा बराबर टू लेट है, अगर आप ये चीज कल मुझसे करवा देते तो ये स्ट्राइक ना होती। तो ये मैं आपको सिर्फ इसलिए बता रही हूँ कि psychology has so much to give to people, to humanity. And if we can use psychology in the right way, we can create wonderful results of good health, mental health, peace, happiness. ये 11 में जल्दी जल्दी थोड़ा सा करा दूंगी, कि एक एक को टाइम लगता था, मैंने आपको बताया ना 6 महीने 2 महीने ऐसे ऐसे टाइम लगता था इनको कराने में, क्योंकि पूरा सॉरी अपना पूरा वजूद चेंज करना पड़ता है। पहले सबसे चीजें नो वन सेल्फ, अपने आप को जानो, इसको मैं छोटा छोटा करके आपको एक्सप्लेन करूंगी। दूसरा है नो योर ओन नेगेटिव इमोशंस एंड कोप विद देम। फॉर एग्जांपल एंगर, एंगर तो सबको आता है और वो बर्बादी का कारण होता है। फिर है कोपिंग विद योर इंट्रापर्सनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, एक तो ना इंटरपर्सनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, दूसरे से लड़ाई है, ठीक है, यहीं पे कोर्ट चल रहा है, यहीं लड़ाई होती है। फिर है मोटिवेटिंग योरसेल्फ, प्रेरणा जगाना, अपने अंदर प्रेरणा जगाना कि मैं करूंगी, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। डेवलपिंग इनोवेटिव थिंकिंग, क्रिएटिविटी। School education is somewhat killing creativity in children. रट्टा लगा रहे हैं, क्रिएटिविटी खत्म हो रही है। क्रिएटिविटी करना बहुत जरूरी है, वहीं से आपकी रिसर्च आती है, वहीं से आपके न्यू थॉट्स आते हैं। Then developing positive attitude, पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड, अच्छा होगा, ठीक होगा। The book Secret is a result of this positive attitude. Then developing sensitivity and interpersonal skills. सेंसिटिविटी किससे आती है? मैं, तुम मैं, और इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स भी वहीं से आते हैं हमारे रिलेशनशिप से। देन ये कम्युनिकेशन से आता है। कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स क्या है? क्या हमें लिसन करना आता है? जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, डॉक्टर को मैंने लिसनिंग स्किल्स सिखाई, जिससे उनकी दूसरा हनीमून आ गया। और फिर है कोपिंग विद वन स्ट्रेस। ऑल ऑफ अस आर लिविंग अ वेरी स्ट्रेसफुल लाइफ। रोज हमें अखबार जब आप पढ़ते हो, हम तो सोचते हैं कि अखबार पढ़ते क्यों है, कब कोई न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी छोड़ देगा, किसकी बॉम्बिंग होगी, क्या होगा, मोदी बेचारा क्या कराता है, शादी करो प्लीज करो, कोई सुनता नहीं। और फिर है मैनेजमेंट ऑफ लाइफ गोल्स एंड टाइम। सबके पास 24 घंटे हैं, 24 घंटे को किस तरह व्यक्त करते हैं, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट। अब क्या जिंदगी का कोई लाइफ बनाते हैं गोल, कोई लक्ष्य, कोई ध्येय कुछ बनाते हैं? नहीं, डे टू डे मोबाइल और लैपटॉप से जिंदगी गुजार देते हैं। एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, वैल्यूज। मैं मोरालिटी की थी ना, वैल्यू, हैविंग योर ओन, कल्टिवेटिंग योर वैल्यूज। ये छोटा छोटा मैं आपसे सब शेयर करूंगी, थोड़ा टाइम तो लगेगा। अब ये देखिए, ये चीज अरिस्टोटल ने कही थी, knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom। wisdom, विजडम और इंटेलिजेंस एक चीज नहीं है। वाइज होना, कहते ना वाइज आदमी है वो उनको बताएगा, ये रिटर्न कह रहा है। नोइंग योरसेल्फ, अपने आप को जानते हो? नहीं जानते ही नहीं हम अपने आप को। और ये देखिए, नोइंग अदर इज इंटेलिजेंस। हाँ जी, मैंने सुनता था, मुझे पता उसके बारे में सारा कुछ। नोइंग योरसेल्फ इज द ट्रू विजडम। आप जब अपने आप को जान लेते हो, सारी दुनिया पे आप फतेह पाते हो। Then mastering others is strength, ताकत है, मैंने काबू कर दिया आपको। But mastering yourself is the true power। अपने गुस्से को मैंने कंट्रोल किया है, ये मेरी पावर है। अब knowing oneself, इसमें क्या हम करते हैं, जब चेक हम क्या करते हैं पर्सनालिटी में कि what are my assets and what are my liabilities। इसके लिए मैंने टूल यूज किया हुआ है, जोहारी विंडो। वो मैं आपको थोड़ा सा दिखाना चाहती हूँ। जोहारी विंडो होता है, we look at ourselves through our own eyes and through the eyes of the others, to self and others। Now, in this self and others, oh God, ये मैं दिखाते हैं, ये है ना, ये self है, known, unknown, others, known, unknown। Now, first quadrant, this is known to me and known to others। मैं खुली किताब हूँ, मैं दूसरे से भी कुछ छुपाने की बात नहीं करता, अपने आप की शेयर कर लेता हूँ। This is public self and this is what make you, and this is the best self। आपको सारी पर्सनालिटी को डिवाइड करके इस सेल में आना पड़ता है, ओपन सेल्फ में, ओपन एरिना, ओपन सेल्फ। दूसरा है ब्लाइंड सेल्फ। ब्लाइंड सेल्फ में क्या हो रहा है, मैं अपने आप को नहीं जानता पर दूसरे मुझे जानते हैं। दिस एरिया इज कॉल्ड ब्लाइंड सेल्फ बिकॉज दिस एरिया इज ऑफ बैड ब्रेथ। जिसकी बैड ब्रेथ होती है उसको नहीं पता चलता कि बैड ब्रेथ है, पर जो दूसरे होते हैं कहते वो दूर हो जाओ, दूर हो जाओ। तो हमारी पर्सनैलिटी में भी कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं जो बहुत नेगेटिव होती हैं। जैसे पंजाब में है, माँ बाप की गाली दे देते हैं हद के साथ, तो और के सामने ये दोस्त को बहुत बुरा लग सकता है ये चीज। तो जो देता है उसको पता ही नहीं चलता, क्योंकि बचपने से को सुना देते हुए फिर वो खुद वही गाली दे जा रहे हैं। फिर आता है थर्ड एरिना हमारा, अ, ये वाला, ये है हिडन एरिना। मैं जानता हूं लेकिन लोग नहीं जानते। यहाँ पे आपके सीक्रेट, आपके कॉन्फिडेंस, आपने गलत काम जो किए हैं वो सब आपने छुपा के रखते हो। और चौथा जो है, ये ना मैं जानता हूं ना दूसरे जान, अननोन सेल्फ, डार्क एरिना। यहाँ पे साइकोलॉजिस्ट हेल्प हेल्प पीपल। हम जैसे एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट कराते हैं, मैं करियर काउंसलिंग भी करती हूँ, तो एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट के बाद लोगों की आंखें खुल जाती हैं कि हमारा एप्टीट्यूड तो ये, हम जा कहाँ रहे हैं। तो ये चीजें जो है आपकी जोहारी विंडो के थ्रू हम नोन करते हैं। यही फिर दिखाया ओपन, ब्लाइंड, हिडन एंड अननोन एरिना। अब ये चीज आपको मैं छोटा सा करके दिखा रही हूँ कि ये आपका सेल्फ है। ये गोला जो देख रहे हो ना आप, ये सेल्फ है। सबसे ऊपर बाहर वाला जो है आपका बिहेवियर है, नोन टू अदर्स एंड नोन टू सेल्फ। ये सब जानते हैं, आप भी जानते हो। ये सेकंड सर्कल जो है वो है अननोन टू यू बट नोन टू अदर्स। ये कौन आपकी मदद कर सकता है, अगर आप अपना माइंड खुला रखो, या विलिंग टू रिसीव पीपल गिविंग यू फीडबैक, फीडबैक कि भाई ये चीज तुम ठीक नहीं कर रहे, इसको ठीक कर लो। हमें कोई ऐसा ही करता, हम क्या कहते हैं, नहीं नहीं मैं तो ठीक कर रहा हूँ, नहीं नहीं मेरा बच्चा तो ठीक है। मैंने देखा है टीचर अगर बता दे बच्चे के बारे में ये इसकी वैल्यू भी ये ठीक चीज नहीं है, तो माँ बाप लड़ना शुरू कर देते हैं उसे टीचर से। नहीं, लड़ो नहीं, बस बच्चे को कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश करो। अब फिर आपका तीसरा है, तीसरा क्या है, नोन टू यू बट नॉट नोन टू अदर। तो आप वो छुपा छुपा के चीजें रखते हो। और यहाँ से क्या चीज शुरू होती है, झूठ बोलना। एक बार आप झूठ बोलते थे तो झूठ की कड़ी लग जाती है। महात्मा गांधी भी कहते थे ट्रूथ इज गॉड। सच बोलो, आप एक बार बोल देते हो छुट्टी जाती है, उसके बाद आपको कोई दोबारा झूठ बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं होती। और फिर ये चौथा वाला जो है, ये है डार्क ब्लू है, अननोन टू यू एंड अननोन टू सेल्फ। यहाँ पे आप साइकोलॉजिस्ट की मदद ले सकते हो जो आपको हेल्प कर सकते हैं आगे जाने में। अरे बाबा रे, सॉरी मैंने एक साइलेंट किया। known about negative emotions and coping with them। सबसे ऊपर क्या है? एंगर, अनॉयंस, frustration. All these negative emotions are normally distributed, well shaped normally. Anger is sharp anger, जिसमें आप मारते हो, पीटते हो, सब कतल कतल भी कर देते हो एंगर पे। यहाँ मैं एक संस्कृत का श्लोक कहना चाहती थी, लेकिन अभी टाइम नहीं हुआ, तो गीता का है ये संस्कृत का श्लोक। टाइम हुआ तो मैं ये बताऊंगी कि एंगर हमें आता क्यों है और हमको कैसे। सॉरी, हाँ जी, कंप्लीट करूँ? हाँ मैं चेक करती हूँ, थैंक यू, सॉरी। अच्छा, तो वो सबसे फनी बोलती है, जानते हो फियर एंड एप्रीहेंशन। हम डर जाते हैं, एप्रीहेंशन होती है, बच्चा हमारा छूट गया, आएगा कि नहीं आएगा। जेलसी एंड एनवी, ये चीजें जो है हमको बर्बाद कर देती हैं। वी कैन कॉन्कर आवर जेलसी, और दूसरे की अच्छाई देखें, बुराई ना देखते जाएं। हेट्रेड, जेलसी, हेट्रेड, एंगर, ये सब चीजें इकट्ठी चलती हैं। काफी एंजाइटी, टेंशन एंड स्ट्रेस, ये बहुत तकलीफ आपको दे सकता है। बिग डिप्रेशन, सुबह से डिप्रेशन की बात हो रही है, सैडनेस, डिप्रेशन। सैडनेस सबको आता है, लेकिन आप कोप कैसे करते हैं, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट। हम जैसे डेथ हो जाए तो डेथ काउंसलिंग ऑल्सो। पहले होता था 13 दिन का होता था, शांति से चले जाते थे, कोप कर लेते थे। देन गिल्ट, अगर आपने गलती करी है तो गिल्ट को आप कैसे करेंगे काबू? बाय शेयरिंग, बाय सेइंग आई एम सॉरी, तो आपका गिल्ट दूर हो जाएगा। गिल्ट है तो शेम है, जिससे अंदर ही अंदर आपको शर्मिंदगी से जरूर होगी, एंड यू विल नॉट बी हैप्पी। फिर शाइनेस, आपको नेगेटिव में बहुत है तो आप शर्माते रहते हो, किसी से बात नहीं करते। अब ये मैं आपको कहना चाहती थी, पर बताऊंगी नहीं, अब टाइम नहीं है। फिर है इंट्रा पर्सनल ग्रोथ, इसका भी मैं छोटा क्लिप बता रही हूँ। कुरुक्षेत्र हमारे अंदर है, कौरव भी यही है, पांडव भी यही है। कौरव जो है वो कहते हैं अच्छा काम करो, धर्म पे चलो, ठीक करो, लोगों का भला करो। दुर्योधन क्या कहता है? मार दो, कत्ल कर दो, लड़ाई कर दो। हमें अपने कौरव को बंद करना है, और अपने पांडवों को या युधिष्ठिर को, या जो न्याय वाला है, धर्म वाला है, उसको बढ़ाना है। फिर आपका आता है कि मैं छोड़ रही हूँ इस कचरे के कारण, 3 तरह की कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जिसको आप कर सकते हो। सबसे पहले फाइट, इन्फ्लेशन, वायलेंस वगैरह वो करते हो, दिस इज नेगेटिव वे ऑफ कोपिंग। फ्लाइट, दौड़ जाओ, भाग जाओ वहां से, उससे आपके कॉन्फ्लिक्ट खत्म नहीं होती। फिक्स करो, रिजॉल्व करो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को, तब आप आगे बढ़ सकते हो। ये है आपकी क्रिएटिविटी। मैं आपको डिटेल नहीं बताती, पर क्रिएटिविटी का मतलब होता है डूइंग समथिंग न्यू, नोवेल। दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ योर अनकॉन्शियस सेल्फ ऑल्सो एंड कॉन्शियस सेल्फ ऑल्सो, एंड इट्स लाइक अ मैजिक अगर आप इसको ग्रो कर लेने देते हो। लेकिन हम क्यों नहीं करते क्रिएटिव? क्योंकि बच्चे को स्कूल में सिखाया जाता है, ये गमला बना दिया, गमले को कॉपी करो। उसको ये नहीं कहा जाता कि तुम सोच के बताओ तुम क्या बात करना चाहते हो। एक बार मुझे बताया, एक बच्चे ने टीचर ने कहा हाथी बना के लाओ, तो सबने ग्रे हाथी, माँ ने ग्रे हाथी बना दिया। एक बच्चा पिंक हाथी बना के ले आया, उनका 0 नंबर। हाथी कभी पिंक होता है, क्योंकि क्यों नहीं हो सकता? दैट इज क्रिएटिविटी। अब इसमें आपको एलर्जी टू द बैरियर्स आ जाते हैं। क्रिएटिविटी क्यों नहीं आप कर सकते? एलर्जी टू एम्बिग्यूटी, क्या आप कोई चीज हट के करना ही नहीं चाहते, मक्खी पे मक्खी मारना चाहते हैं। दूसरा है कंफॉर्मिटी, जो हो रहा है वही होने दो, ये हमारे संस्कार है, इसी संस्कार को होने दो। बुढ़ों को जाके वहां क्या कहते हैं, हमने आग्रह नहीं की, वहां के छोड़ा, उसको अलग कर दो, जीने ना दो। रिजिडिटी, यही करना है, यही करना है, यही करना है, इसे हट के कुछ करना नहीं। फियर ऑफ फेलियर, मैं अगर फेल हो गया तो मैं क्या करूंगा, लोग मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे, इसलिए मैं ये करूंगा ही नहीं, नई चीज करूंगा ही नहीं। स्टार सेंसिबिलिटी, ये हमारी अद्भुत चीजें हैं पर हम उनको देखते ही नहीं। मैं जहाँ रहती हूँ वहां पे रॉक गार्डन बने हैं नेचर में, उसके पास टूटे फूटी चीजें थी, मिट्टी, ये कहते हैं सीमेंट जमी हुई, चूड़ियां टूटी, वैसे सब टूटा फूटा सामान था। उसने उसमें से रॉक गार्डन बना दिया, आज वर्ल्ड फेमस है वो रॉक गार्डन। दिस इज रिसोर्स माइयोपिया, हमारे एक रिसोर्सेज हैं पर हम कहते हैं हम कर ही नहीं सकते। मैंने देखा जो औरतें घर में खाना बनाते हैं, ओहो मेरे पास तो इसकी रेसिपी नहीं है, और मेरा मोबाइल कहाँ है? अरे भी तुम एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देख लो, और कई बार एक्सपेरिमेंट कर, मैं तो एक्सपेरिमेंट कर समझाती हूँ और बड़ी अच्छी चीजें बन जाती हैं। And then touchiness. Touchiness is फियर ऑफ रिडिक्यूल, कोई मेरा मजाक उड़ा देगा ऐसे मैं करूंगा ही नहीं। ये बैरियर्स आप हटा दें तो आप क्रिएटिव हो जाते हैं, और क्रिएटिविटी बहुत हेल्प करती है। पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड, यहाँ मैं सिर्फ आपको ये दिखाना चाहती हूँ, ये गिलास आपको भरा नजर आ रहा है कि खाली नजर आ रहा है? अगर भरा नजर आ रहा है कि ऊपर वाला तो भरा है, तो खाली है, नीचे तो भरा हुआ है ना, मैं भी पानी पी सकता हूँ, पॉजिटिव। अगर मैं कह रहा हूँ नहीं खाली है, नहीं, ऊपर तो खाली पानी ही नहीं है, दिस इज नेगेटिव एटीट्यूड। So you can have favorable attitude and unfavorable. So go for favorable, not unfavorable. And then use of words. आप उसके लिए वर्ड्स कौन से यूज करते हो? जो ऑप्टिमिज्म वाले हों, खुशी वाले हों। डेली लाइफ में उनको यूज करो, खुशी वाले उनको। एंड देन डेवलपिंग सेंसिटिविटी, इसको मैं ब्रीफली कह रही हूँ। सेंसिटिविटी मीन्स कि आपके अंदर एम्पैथी हो। एम्पैथी क्या होती है? टू पुट माई सेल्फ इन समबडी शूज एंड फील फॉर दैट पर्सन। उसकी फीलिंग्स क्या है, उसको पेन क्या है, उसको हर्ट क्या कर रही है चीज। काउंसलिंग में दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, तो अगर सेंसिटिविटी आप रखते हैं दिल में, तो आपका कम्युनिकेशन कैसा होगा? कम्युनिकेशन होगा जो आपकी अच्छी बातें लेके, अच्छी बातों को लेके आगे चले। और सिर्फ बोले नहीं, सुने। लिसनिंग इज मच मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन टॉकिंग। पर हम क्या करते हैं? हम टॉकिंग ज्यादा करते हैं, लिसनिंग कम करते हैं। यहाँ मैं एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ। गणेश जी आप सब जानते हैं, गणेश जी का सूंड सामने होती है, मुंह अंदर बंद होता है, कान बड़े बड़े होते हैं, सुनो ज्यादा, बोलो कम। तो ये काउंसलिंग हो जाती है। आपने देखा जो चुप रह के बात सुन लेते हैं, लोग उनको बहुत पसंद करते हैं। देन कम्युनिकेशन कैन बी नॉन वर्बल एंड वेल एज वर्बल। वर्बल 30% होता है, नॉन वर्बल बॉडी लैंग्वेज जो है वो 70% के करीब होती है। आप सोचिए कितना है, बिकॉज बॉडी लैंग्वेज से हम अपनी फीलिंग्स जाहिर करते हैं। तो जैसे मैंने देखा कि नहीं नहीं मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आ रहा, और मुझे ऐसे बना रहे हैं, तो मुंह जो आपको बना है तो दूसरे को पता चल गया आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है। तो बी कॉन्शियस ऑफ योर बॉडी लैंग्वेज मोर देन योर वर्बल लैंग्वेज। इसको मैं कोपिंग विद वन स्ट्रेस, तो इसमें सिर्फ यही मैं आपको सुनाना चाहती हूँ। द वर्ड्स ऑफ वरी एंड केयर फ्लाई ओवर योर हेड। हर एक को वरी होती है, हर एक को घबराहट होती है। This you cannot stop. तो होते हैं, they build, if they build nest in your ear, this you can prevent. अगर चेयर वरी करके, यहाँ कहते हैं रॉकिंग ऑन द चेयर, रॉकिंग चेयर पे बैठ के वरी करते जाओ, तो आपने नेस्ट बना लिया, फिर मार मरी। नेस्ट ना बनने दो। आई वरी चली गई, आई वरी चली गई। ये मैं, क्योंकि टाइम नहीं है, पर ये 4 चीजें जो हैं जो आपके स्ट्रेस को इफेक्ट करती हैं। आपकी थिंकिंग, कॉग्निटिव, आपकी इमोशंस, फीलिंग, आपके एक्शन क्या करते हो, और आपका फिजियोलॉजिकल चेंज आता है। पूरा नर्वस सिस्टम जवाब देता है, आपको ग्लैंड वगैरह सब जवाब देते हैं जब आप स्ट्रेस में होते हो। और वो आपको क्या कहते हैं, बीमारी देते हैं। और वो बीमारी कैसे देते हैं? इफेक्ट्स द बॉडी। बॉडी में जैसे हो जाता है डायबिटीज हो गई, पेट खराब हो गया, ब्लड सर्कुलेशन खराब हो गई, इसके ये सब बीमारियां आती हैं। बिहेवियर बीमारी कैसे आती है? ये आपकी मेंटल डिस्टर्बेंस, डिप्रेशन, ये वगैरह इस तरह से चीजें आती है। और मैक्सिमम जब हो जाए तब आपका ब्रेक डाउन हो जाता है, तब आप पागल खाने के मेंटल हॉस्पिटल के साइकियाट्रिस्ट के पास पहुंच जाते हैं, और मैक्सिमम सुसाइड कमिट कर लेते हैं। तो स्ट्रेस को हमें काबू कर लेना चाहिए। कैसे? फिजिकली मैं दिखाऊंगी 3 रेट्स आते हैं, वो फिजिकल है, मेंटल है, मेडिटेशन वगैरह भी मेंटल में आ जाती है, अच्छी किताबें पढ़ो, इमोशनल अपने एंगर को काम करो। यहाँ में हम पत्नी राह में बोलना चाहती हूँ, ध्याय तो विषयान पुरुषार्थ सन्मुख से बुद्धिमाचा बुद्धिमान। जब हम किसी चीज से बहुत अटैच हो जाते हैं, तो फिर ना मिले तो हमसे गुस्सा आ जाता है। गुस्सा आने से हमारी स्मृति, मेमोरी लॉस हो जाते हैं। मेमोरी लॉस से बुद्धिनाशन, बुद्धिनाशन की तुम्हारा नाशक कर। तो इमोशन को हमें काबू करना बहुत जरूरी है। नेगेटिव इमोशन जो है, सोशल, प्लीज, थैंक यू, सॉरी जरूर कहना चाहिए। एंड स्पिरिचुअल, ये जो मेडिटेशन दिखाई है ना मेरी, स्पिरिचुअल, ये बहुत जरूरी है। इसमें आपका योगा का प्राणायाम वगैरह सब आ जाता है। अच्छी चीजें हैं, करो तो फायदा होता है इससे। अब 3 S इसके क्या है जो आपको हेल्प कर सकते हैं? फ्रेंड्स, फेथ एंड फैमिली। फेथ में जो रिसर्च है उसमें फेथ में ये है कि अगर आप मंदिर, मस्जिद, गुरुद्वारा जो भी जाते हो, अच्छे भाव से जाते हो, लड़कियों को चुमटी काटने नहीं, तो फिर आपका वो जो स्ट्रेस है वो कम होता है, ब्लड प्रेशर ठीक रहता है। ओके, फैमिली को आप अपना दोस्त बनाइए तो आप ठीक रहते हैं। और फिजिकल में क्या है? रिलैक्सेशन, रिलैक्स जरूर कीजिए, एक्सरसाइज जरूर कीजिए और डाइट ठीक लीजिए, तो आपका ये तो आप स्ट्रेस पे काबू कर लेते हो। ये मेरे ख्याल में, अब मैं ये नहीं करूंगी, ये 10 गोल्स हैं जो आप करते हो, बेसिक कर देते हो। स्ट्रेटेजी है पहले के, टाइम मैनेजमेंट ये 10वां है। टाइम मैनेजमेंट कैसे करते हो? 24 घंटे हैं, उन 24 घंटों को हम कैसे यूज करते हैं, यहाँ पे मैं सिर्फ ये दिखा देती हूँ, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है ये अनइम्पॉर्टेंट है। कुछ अर्जेंट काम होते हैं, आपने ठीक करना है, प्रिवेंशन करनी है, बनाना है, कोई जरूर करो। अर्जेंट जाते हैं, फोन आ गया, आपकी माँ सीरियसली गिर गई, ओके जाना ही जाना है, करना है। लेकिन जो ट्रिविया है, जब निकालनी है, हल्का के फोन आ रहे हैं, बड़े फोन ऐसे बेकार आते हैं, उनको बॉदर मत करो। और जो इंटरप्शन है, भी काम आप कर रहे हो कोई, तो कह दो ठहर जाओ, ये आप कर लोगे तो आप टाइम मैनेज कर लोगे। एंड देन गोल सेटिंग, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है। एक तो इमीडिएट आपके गोल्स, कल क्या करना है, परसों क्या करना है। दूसरा है इंटरमीडिएट गोल, महीने में क्या करना है, 2 महीने में क्या करना है। तीसरा है लॉन्ग रन गोल, मैं 5 साल बाद क्या करना चाहता हूँ। और लास्ट है अल्टीमेट, मैं इस जिंदगी से क्या पाना चाहता हूँ, मैं जब मरूं तो मैं किस शांति से मर सकूं, क्या मैंने वो लक्ष्य करा है वो नहीं कर। ये ओ गॉड, सॉरी सॉरी, इसमें वैल्यूज के बिना मैं जा नहीं सकती, आपको छोड़ नहीं सकती। वैल्यूज नहीं है, मैंने ये पाया है कि सारे मजहबों में आप जो देखो, वो लव जो है वो सेंट्रल वैल्यूज है इन ऑल द। सब चाहते हैं सबका भला हो, सबका अच्छा हो, चाहे कुरान शरीफ लो, चाहे बाइबल लो, चाहे गीता लो, सब कहते हैं लव इज इम्पोर्टेंट। तो लव किसको? सेल्फ को लव करो और दूसरों को लव करो। सेल्फ में क्या है? सेल्फ एस्टीम डेवलप करो। वो तब होती है जब आप अच्छे काम करते हो, ब्यूटीफुल होते हो, अपने कर्म ठीक से करते हो, ऑनेस्ट होते हो, ईमानदारी से, इंटेग्रिटी आपकी होती है और ट्रूथफुलनेस होती है, तो आप अपने आप ही सेल्फ एस्टीम में आते हो। ये सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट होती है आपकी। दूसरों का रिस्पेक्ट करना, बड़ों की इज्जत करना, उनको ट्रस्ट करना, ऑल्ट्रिज्म, दूसरों का भला करना और सेक्रीफाइस करना एंड बीइंग हेल्पफुल, ये आपका दूसरों को लव है। और 20 का है नॉन वायलेंस। नॉन वायलेंस किसका? एक तो है फिजिकल नॉन वायलेंस, कपड़ा चपड़ी कर दी, मारा पलटी, ये नहीं करनी चाहिए। लेकिन इससे भी बड़ा क्या है? साइकोलॉजिकल नॉन वायलेंस, जहाँ पे आप किसी की फीलिंग्स को हर्ट नहीं करते, किसी को दुख नहीं पहुंचाते। फैमिली वायलेंस में, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस में, पहले मैं थोड़ा सा इसमें भी फैमिली में किया हुआ है, क्योंकि सेक्सुअल हेरासमेंट वगैरह पे भी किया हुआ है। इसमें मैंने लाया कि मतलब वो थप्पड़ मार रहा है या हड्डी तोड़ रहा है, वो ठीक है, वो तो आप करोगे, सजा दोगे। लेकिन वो सोसाइटी में जाके उसकी बेइज्जती कर रहा है, उसका मजाक उड़ा रहा है, ये साइकोलॉजिकल वायलेंस है। व्हेन यू मेक हर फील वन डाउन, मेक हर फील इंफीरियर, वो आपका चीज जो है वो नॉन वायलेंस है, नहीं है, वो वायलेंस है। और फिर पीस एंड कंटेंटमेंट, शांति है तो सत्य चित्त आनंद अगर है तो ठीक है, कंटेंटमेंट है, आपको गोदन गजन बाजन और जब आए संतोष मन, सब दम दो समान, तो ये हो जाए। इसके साथ ये मैं छोड़ रही हूँ, ये काफी लंबा है। थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपने मुझे ये समय दिया, टाइम दिया। डॉक्टर नागर, डॉक्टर धर, आपसे मुलाकात हो गई, बहुत अच्छा लगा। चलो, टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू हुई,
चलिए,
ऑफलाइन होती।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच एंड
थैंक यू।
गॉड मुबारक कि आपने ये चीज शुरू करी और बहुत अच्छा करा। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Yeah, thank you, madam, for describing that lifestyle is also detrimental in mental well-being. One of the most admired organizations in India to work with is the Indian Army, which demonstrate mental, physical fitness along with values and ethics. And it is not the physical robustness and IQ, but the state of mental health decides the selection or rejection of the aspirant. So thank you, madam, once again. Now I request Dr. Shubhi Vyas to propose word of thanks. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the organizing team, my department and my institute, I, Dr. Shubhi Vyas, Assistant Professor in Psychology at Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, would like to propose my words of thanks. I extend my gratitude to Chief Guest on the occasion, Dr. Vidhu Mohan, to accept our invitation and grace this platform with her knowledge, expertise, and research. Your address was truly so insightful. I'm sure everyone in the audience was able to pick some important practical learnings from your address. We feel so privileged to have been a part of this interaction with you, hoping to meet you in person someday very soon. I'd like to extend my thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor and Conference Patron, Dr. Upinder Dhar, for putting his faith in us and entrusting us to conduct this conference smoothly. So your guidance has been supremely valuable to us, even in the smallest of the things. You're an incredible mentor, and every opportunity to work with you refines us. I'd also like to extend my gratitude towards Dr. Santosh Dhar, Conference Patron, Rector and Dean, Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research, for her support and guidance throughout the course of preparation of the conference. Your energy and work ethic is truly admirable and a personal source of inspiration for me. A heartfelt thanks to Dr. Dinesh Nagar, Conference Convener and Director, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Social Sciences, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, for being there for us through every difficulty we faced in the preparation of the conference. You have been the strongest motivator and support system for us, and this conference bears the fruits of your efforts. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my teammate and coordinator of the conference, Ms. Akanksha Saxena. You have been a solid support and my strongest partner every step of the way. Lastly, I'd like to thank all faculties from all departments, technical team, students, and each and every person who is playing a role in the smooth conduction of the conference. Without your contributions, this conference would not be possible. Thank you all.
No, thank you, madam. Now it's time to raise in the honor of national anthem, but please stay tuned with us for the 2 days to enjoy the academic feast. Over to you, technical team.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you to all. You may now leave the boardroom.
So before
Thank
we
you.
all leave, I request everyone to switch on their video cameras
Okay, we can have
so
a
that we may take a screenshot of the gathering. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sparing your valuable time.
And thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Lovely to meet both of you. And Dr. Desi also is there.
Thank you very much.
So much.
thank you, ma'am.
I request the participants to please stay on the same link. Our plenary session would start shortly.
ड्रॉप हो रहा है, वो बोल दिया जाए, स्टूडेंट लोग से बोल दिया जाए कि
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Anubhuti, ma'am. Good morning, Dhar, ma'am. Good morning, Kishore,
Good morning,
sir.
ma'am. Good morning.
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
गुड मॉर्निंग.
Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, all the speakers have come now.
यस मैम.
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम.
Then we can start.
Only Krishna Kumar sir will join us later.
Shall I start? Meanwhile, he will join us. No?
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, all. On behalf of Sri Vaishnava Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, I, Dr. Shilpa Fadnis, feel privileged to welcome you all to the plenary session 1 of MANOPRABHA-2024, third virtual conference on mental health and quality of life in the age of technology. Today, we aim to explore, share, and learn together. I'm sure by the end, we all walk away with new ideas, inspiration, and memories. We are fortunate to have Dr. Santosh Dhar as session chair of this session, Dr. Anubhuti Dubey, Dr. M. Kishore, and Dr. Krishna Kumar Soni as resource persons. On the outset, I welcome all the dignitaries to the plenary session 1. Before session begins, it's my pleasure to introduce our session chair to the August gathering. Dr. Santosh Dhar is Rector and Dean, FDSR at Sri Vaishnava Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. She has been engaged in teaching, research, corporate training, and consultancy for the last 42 years. She has widely published her work and has more than 425 publications to her credit. Many research scholars have been awarded PhD degree under her supervision. She has designed and conducted management development programs for the executives of several business houses such as Grasim Industries, JK Tyre, Bridgestone, Hindustan Motors, ONGC, and GAIL, to name a few. She has been on the panel of reviewers of Oxford University Press and Tata McGraw-Hill's. She is on editorial board of many renowned journals. Now, with your permission, I want to introduce resource persons of this session. Our first resource person is Dr. Anubhuti Dubey, Professor and Head Psychology, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Gorakhpur University, Gorakhpur. She has an experience of 23 years. She has published 2 books, more than 50 research papers in the Journal of National and International Repute, and 45 chapter articles to her credit. She has co-edited 2 books and a series of 6-volume books. 12 scholars have been awarded PhD degree under her supervision. She is also working as a consultant for World Wildlife Federation, Valmiki Tiger Reserve, Bihar, and juvenile offenders of Gorakhpur district under Juvenile Justice Board. Our second resource person is Dr. M. Kishore. He is Professor and Head of Psychiatry, JSS Medical College, Mysuru. He has an expertise of more than 40 years. He has published dozens of books, chapter articles, and more than 150 research papers to his credit. He has earned many awards, namely Dr. Ramchandra N. Murthy Foundation Fellowship International Neuropsychiatric Association Award, and multiple research grants in cognitive sciences. He visited Malaysia and Rochester as a guest faculty. He has guided many research scholars and MD research residents at JSS and NIMHANS. He is currently involved in DST, DBT, ICMR research projects worth ₹2 crores. And our third resource person is Dr. Krishna Kumar Soni. He will join us shortly. He is Associate Professor, Department of Psychiatry, PGIMER, Chandigarh. He has edited 2 books in collaboration with international publishers, authored over 10 chapter articles and 55 papers published in reputable databases. Now, I would like to hand over this particular session to session chair, Dr. Santosh Dhar. Over to you, ma'am. We are sorry to say that there's an electricity cut off. We are going to shortly end it soon.
Five minutes.
In 5 minutes. Then we are going to please unmute yourself. Sorry for inconvenience.
हाँ जी स्टार्ट कर हाँ बीच में लाइटें चली गई थी so that's why I was out.
Now, I would like to hand over the session to the session chair, Dr. Santosh Dhar. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. First, let me welcome all my panelists. Dr. Anubhuti Dubey, Dr. Kishore M, and Dr. Krishna Kumar. Now, today, the main theme of this conference is related to the technology. The theme is the technology, mental health and quality of life in the age of technology. To start with, let me give a brief. It's not actually brief. To start with the session, technology has changed almost every facet of our evolving modern lives, and its benefits are countless, as all of us know. It has transformed the lives, making it easier to stay connected, manage our health, enjoy a higher quality of life. From telemedicine and smart home devices to online learning and entertainment, the benefits of technology are vast and varied. By embracing these advancements, even the seniors can lead more independent, healthy, and fulfilling lives. As technology continues to evolve, its potential to improve the lives of all age groups will only grow, offering even more ways to enhance the daily experiences and overall well-being. But as technological advances continue to dramatically change the way we live, give us better quality of life, they can also have significant effects on our mental health. Internet, smartphones, and other digital devices have apparent effects on people's mental health, as the research has shown. Negative consequences from technology overuse impact an individual cognitively, affectively, and behaviorally. Consequences of attachment to technology include lowered social skills, low self-motivation, lower emotional intelligence, and low empathy and increased conflicts with others. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and depression has become common among younger population. Mental health concerns increase with society's reduced social interactions resulting from increased technological use and dependence of social media for communication. No doubt, social media is a powerful communication tool and has changed how individuals interact with one another. It speeds up how people exchange and share information, thoughts, and ideas across virtual networks. Many people in today's world live with their smartphone as their virtual companions. These devices use electronic social media networks that alert users to update on friends, favorite celebrities, and global events. Social media has become firmly integrated into people's daily lives. According to a research report, 75% of people use social media. It has definitely revolutionized communication, but it too has negative effects on interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships. While the advantages of social media and relationships tend to occur naturally, the disadvantages seem to be associated with existing relationship problems or underlying psychological concerns. It leads to low quality sleep and harms mental health. It has associations with depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Children who overuse technology are more likely to experience issues like low academic performance, lack of attention, low creativity, delays in language development, delays in social and emotional development, physical inactivity and obesity, poor sleep quality, social issues such as social incompatibility and anxiety, aggressive behaviors, addiction, more addiction to these technologies, and higher BMI. So there's a need to understand the importance of interacting with these technologies and social media. Technology is only a tool, not a crutch, that we need to understand. I think today we have the speakers with some more light on this and make us more enriched and enlightened about the use of technology in this era. Okay. With these, I request Dr. Anubhuti Dubey to start with her deliberation. Dr. Anubhuti Dubey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, uh, from where I have to start, I am just thinking of because I am a so-called the last minute arrangement for this webinar. So many of my thoughts may be a little hither and thither. So please bear with me, and I will try to with the theme of the of this conference, that is the digital technology and the basically the quality of life, its effect on quality of life and mental health and well-being. So when we this is a very broad and complex concepts when we talk about the digital technology uses and the overall well-being, including the positive and negative mental health effects, as Dr. Dhar was already talked about. So before begin with the effects of digital technology on mental health and well-being, first we have to understand how technology use might affect well-being. So we have to define both of these concepts, means the use of technology as well as what we understand about how we describe mental health and well-being. So digital technology in itself is an umbrella term that encompasses various kind of devices, services, and types of use. Mostly, the most commonly used digital services when it in terms of services, especially the use of YouTube. Approximately 85% of the digital services people use YouTube, and the closely followed by the new social media platform, that is the Instagram and Snapchat. Uh, uh, Previously, it was the Facebook, but now Facebook is being replaced by Instagram by most of the youngsters, even the for the promotional purposes also. So when it comes to the use of the digital technology services, this is the scenario. Uh, when we talk about the digital technology use from the various kind of devices, so people are using it from the mobile phones, the smartphones, the desktop, the laptops, and the other kind of devices as well. Then when we talk about the social media, so we can there is just two different types of social media. One is the social networking sites, as I talked about, such as Instagram and TikTok, and other is the instant messengers, such as Facebook Messenger, Signal, etc. So all these kind of services and devices are used by people. These devices and services generally have their different functionalities, as well as the issue of affordance, which results in many type of uses. Uh, when on social media, particularly when we talk about adolescent and young adults and youth, they chat with others, post their likes, share their likes and dislikes. So these people who chat with others, post their likes and dislikes, we can say that generally, in general terms, we can say they are the active users. And in contrast, some of the people who are engaged in these kind of platforms, but they are just engaged, they are not actively sharing or participating or posting, but they merely lurking and watching the content of others. So we can say they are the passive users. So we can say that this is the binary distinction between the active and passive users. And when in terms of the behavior, as we are psychologists, so when we study or when we try to see the effect of digital technology use, we have to distinguish between the active users and the passive users. And generally, the the researchers said that the behavior of active users is considered in terms of procrastination, and the behavior of passive users is considered in terms of goal directedness. So as a when we talk about the effect, so we have to distinguish between these two. For example, chatting with others can be considered procrastination uh, if it means delaying work on a more important task. Many of the time people said that I have started watching the reels and chatting with people, and I just forget how much time I had spent on the device or the platform, and I have delayed my some of the important work. So this is the effect of active using is in terms of procrastination. Uh, However, observing but not interacting with others' content, that can be considered as goal directed behavior if the goal is to stay up to date with the lives of friends. So passive, for the passive users, it is the goal directed behavior only when the intention of the person is to stay up to date with the what is happening in the lives of others, with the friends and the other anyone's lives who is in the friend circle of the user. So there is uh, this is the one important distinction that we have to understand. Then there is another important distinction between the different kind of use, where is that whether this is a use for the social purposes or it is a non-social use. So the social use basically captures all kind of all kind of active interpersonal communication, such as chatting and texting, but also liking photos and sharing posts, etc. Non-social use includes the reading and playing, for example, playing a game, or reading a book, or listening to music, or watching a video. So it is a non-social use. So basically, social use is when you are interacting socially with the community, and a non-social is when you are enjoying reading, playing, or listening to the music and watching the video. So this is the other kind of distinction. So whenever we think about the effect, we have to consider these kind of things, that how we are defining digital technology. At the same time, when conceptualizing and measuring these different kind of digital technologies use, there are several kind of challenges as well. Challenges in terms of as uh, Professor Vidhu Mohan was talking about, that the digital behavior, or the behavior in general, into a single predictor of well-being. When we talk about collapsing all digital behaviors into a single predictor of well-being, that will inevitably decrease the precision, both conceptually and empirically. Uh, at the same time, when we are conceptualizing or subsuming all these activities and types of use under the term, one term, fails to acknowledge that they serve different functions and show different effects on different people of different age groups, gender, location, their understanding about the behaviors and phenomena. So as I said, that it is a very complex and broad area of research or understanding. So when we think about understanding digital technology use as a general behavior, it neglects many forms of other behaviors that we can take. So therefore, when we asking about the impact of digital technology use on the well-being and mental health of the users or people per se, we need to be aware that digital technology use is not a monolithic concept. So this is some general understanding about when we say digital technology, particularly in terms of understanding its effect on mental health and well-being. Then first we have to conceptualize, or when we have to describe or define what digital technology means. As a researcher, when we say what is the operational definition of digital technology for this particular kind of research or understanding. Then the other term is the quality of life, which includes the mental health of individuals. So mental health is generally considered to consist of two parts. One is the negative mental health, and other is psychopathology such as depression or schizophrenia, and many other things. The negative effect uh, negative there are in the DSM classification, there are many of the disorders are now included, which are related to the uses of smartphones, which are related to the uses of internet addiction, nomophobia, and many of the almost 12, 13 disorders which have a particular kind of etiology and all that. I think Professor Kishore is the most suitable person to talk about that. But negative mental health effects, these includes these kind of some clinical negative mental health. Then the positive mental health, when we say the positive mental health, sometimes it is a synonym of our well-being, which comprises the two kind of well-being: the hedonic well-being, and the other is the eudaimonic well-being. Well-being is the broader term which includes the life satisfaction, the positive affect, and the negative subjective well-being includes the life satisfaction, the negative affect, and the positive affect, as well as in terms of psychological understanding, quality of life is also incorporated in the broader umbrella term of the well-being. So here I am focusing on the hedonic well-being and the eudaimonic well-being. The hedonic well-being is, as you know, it's affective. It focuses on emotions, the pleasure, or the need satisfaction. And the eudaimonic well-being is more focused on addresses the cognitive aspect of the individual, cognitive functioning, addressing the meaning of life, self-esteem, fulfillment. So these are the focus of hedonic and eudaimonic well-being. So now the question is that what part of mental health is the most likely to be affected by digital technology use? The general understanding is that digital technology use is negatively impacting the well-being of the individuals. But as far as the researchers are concerned, it is not the same case. Empirically, the researchers said that eudaimonic well-being, such as life satisfaction, is stable over time. although some researchers maintains that 40% of our happiness is volatile, and therefore it is malleable. Some of the recent investigations argued that the influence of potentially stabilizing factors such as genes and life circumstances are substantially larger. These results are aligned with the so-called set point hypothesis, which posits that life satisfaction varies around a fixed level, showing much interpersonal but little intrapersonal variances. So this set point hypothesis has repeatedly found support in empirical studies, which demonstrates the stability of life satisfaction measures. Consequently, when we talk about the digital technology use, uh, digital technology use is not likely to be a strong predictor of eudaimonic well-being. Because the eudaimonic well-being is a comparatively uh, stable aspect of life. In contrast, the hedonic well-being, such as positive and negative affect, is volatile and subject to substantial fluctuation. Uh, Therefore, digital technology use might well be a driver of eudaimonic well-being. So, watching entertaining content, for example, watching an entertaining content can make us laugh and raise our spirits, while reading hostile comments make us angry and causes bad mood. As we see many a times, we see that when someone posts something or trolling, the word of trolling it has when someone posts something on Twitter or Facebook, and people try to see that how many of the persons have uh, positively commented on that, and if there is a negative comment, because we post something with an expectation that it will be positively taken by people over there on the digital community. So when reading the hostile comments makes us angry, and we feel bad. It affects our mood. However, when we saw some entertaining content, the entire popularity of reels, 1.5 minute reels, is based on this hedonic well-being, because it is making us laugh. It raised our spirits, so many people like to watch reels. So in sum, life satisfaction is stable, and technology use is more likely to affect temporary measures of hedonic well-being instead of more robust eudaimonic well-being. So now the question is, if this is the case, we should expect small to medium-sized effects on short-term effect, but small to negligible effects on both long-term effect and life satisfaction. So when we say that digital technology is affecting our mood and the well-being and the quality of life, the researchers in general, the researchers said that the effect is no medium-sized and short-term. It is not the long-term effect on the overall life satisfaction. In the recent past, in the November 2023, a study was published by Bury uh, uh, in the study is entitled Global Wellbeing and Mental Health in Internet Age. It is published in the Open Access Journal on named Clinical Psychological Science. The study showed that it is a long study, and they had taken the many countries' data, almost lakhs of data, and they had analyzed these data, all 168 countries' data, and they have analyzed, and they showed that in the past 2 decades have seen only small and inconsistent changes in global well-being and mental health that are not suggestive of the idea that the adoption of internet and mobile broadband is consistently linked to negative psychological outcomes. So it is a broad study which has taken a sample of many of the countries, and they concluded that the uses of internet and mobile broadband, it has not so negative impact as we we say per se. So and another study which I want to quote is by Dan Lin. It is also a study which was published in 2020. The impact of digital technology use on adolescent well-being. This study also provides a review of the digital technology use on adolescent well-being, and the overall the findings imply that the general effects are on the negative end of the spectrum for the adolescent, but they are very small. Effects differ depending on the type of use, where as I said, where it is used as a procrastination active user, and procrastination and passive use are related to more negative effects. Social and active use are related to more positive effects. So, so conclusively, we cannot say that that the digital technology use is uh, negatively impacting the well-being of the users. Yes, in case of adolescent, where they are in the growing age, they are the formative age, and they it may affect for some of the adolescent it may affect. So digital technology use in general have stronger effects on short-term markers of hedonic well-being, that is the negative effect, then long-term measures of eudaimonic well-being, that is the life satisfaction. Uh, so although adolescents particularly are vulnerable, effects are comparable for both adolescent and adults. It appears that both low and excessive use are related to decreased well-being, whereas moderate use is related to increased well-being. So, as we say, in Indian knowledge system, when we say that moderate or madhyam marg is always preferable, so that is the case of that is also in the case of use of digital technology. So, the researchers said when someone is not at all using the digital technology, the person may be lag behind the changes and advancement which are going all around the world. And if the person is using excessively using, that also decreases the well-being. So uh, the important thing when we study the use of digital technology and its effect on mental health, the researchers should take care of some of the things, methodological things. Means the high quality studies, they should include the large scale samples, objective measures of digital technology use, and the sampling should be very rigorous and scientific. Some of the studies are now focused on the scientific evidences that indicate the frequent digital technology use has a significant impact on the brain functions and behavior. So the potential harmful effects of extensive screen time and the technology use include a heightened attention deficit symptoms, impaired emotional and social intelligence, technology addiction, social isolation, impaired brain development, and disrupted sleep. However, various apps, video games, and other online tools may benefit brain health. This is also researched. So, functional imaging scans show that internet naive adults who learn to search online show significant increase in brain neural activity during simulated internet searches. Certain computer programs and video games may improve memory, multitasking skills, fluid intelligence, and other cognitive abilities as well. Some of the apps and digital tools offer mental health intervention, providing self-management, monitoring, skill training, and other interventions that may improve both mood and behavior. Some of the additional researches on positive and negative effects of positive and negative brain health effects of technology is always there is a room to elucidate the mechanism and underlying causal relationship. But these studies are saying that when we say the brain health, the moderate use of internet, particularly for those who are elderly, who are retired, and they when they use the internet, the social media platforms, that enhances their cognitive abilities as well. So, accompanying the rapid spread of internet, no doubt we are worried about the broad adoption of these technologies, uh, uh, and their harmful effects, but particularly for the uh, people of younger age, adolescents and young adults. But the so with this note, many of the governments have acted in limiting the access of online technologies. Uh, but this is not a way to disrupt the lives of their population by limited accessing the internet, because this is the information technology age. So the overall the consequence as a consequence of there are several conflicting positions and research findings which are related to the uses of digital technology and its effect on mental health. Some general implications may emerge that the general effect of digital technology use on well-being are likely to be in the negative on a spectrum. It is somewhat a negative side, particularly in the context of adolescent and adults, but a very small, potentially too small to that it may be mattered. Number of no screen time is created equal. Different users will lead to different effects. So we have to understand that we cannot equate all the types of screen time and in the same way, and for the different users, for different peoples, it creates it affects differently. Digital technology use is more likely to affect short term positive and negative effect than long term life satisfaction. The It appears that both low and excessive use are related to decreased well-being, whereas moderate use is related to increased well-being. Uh, People, particularly adolescents, are likely more vulnerable to the effects of digital technology use on well-being, which is almost established and reported. But it is important to patronize, particularly adolescents. Effects are no, comparable, and adolescents are not the, we can say that they, if we decrease if we cut short the use the cut the adolescent from the uses of internet, they will become the powerless. So the current empirical researchers have these kind of the major limitation is that the most of the researches which are published have low sample size, not the largest scale samples. Objective measures of digital technology use are not incorporated in that way, and the experience, the sampling, the better rigorous sampling is almost missing in many of the studies. So we cannot say that it is always that the digital technology uses uh, decreases the mental health and well-being of the individual. It all depends on how it is used, whether it is for the goal-directed behavior, or it is for the procrastination, and the conclusive effects of digital technology use, particularly the subclinical mental health measures that should be incorporated in the studies. So this is the some of the my thoughts on the uses of digital technology and its effect on mental health and well-being. So this is from my side. Thank you so much for patience listening and in providing me the opportunity to interact with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we have now the next speaker? Dr. Kishore. Dr. Kishore is there, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a sheer delight to be with all of you at the Sri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya. I'll just share my slides so that it's easy for you to interact. Is it visible?
Yes. Yes.
Fine. So, I'm really in gratitude to the director of the institution, Dr. Dinesh Nagar, the chair of this panel, Dr. Santosh Dar, and my colleagues, Dr. Anubhuti and Dr. Krishna. I just saw Dr. Krishna and was also in the early career program of Ram Murthy. I don't know, we might have missed each other, but seeing him the same panel, it's a delight. I also am really thankful to Dr. Shubhi Vyas and the Department of Psychology faculty and the students who made this program possible. I should remember May Britt Moser, a psychologist who won the Nobel Prize for helping us to identify the brain areas which tell us where we are. So I can imagine all of you in Indore, some of my friends in Chandigarh, and down south in Mysore. Before I start, I should thank every child and adolescent who try to teach us to rethink, to those millions of parents who experience the joy and the pain, and the teachers who build this society every day. My background is that with 2 decades of experience and more than 30,000 adults whom we have seen very closely, more than 10,000 children and adolescents who come to us, hundreds of schools and colleges where we frequently visit, and numerous teachers training program and some of this research. So my presentation is just by the product of all these combined. When we talk about the mental health and quality of life in the age of technology, I want you to go back to billions of years ago, how we humans evolved. What is very fascinating is that even though the Earth came 4.6 billion years ago, humans have come just around 40 to 30,000 years ago, the modern human. And the mammals themselves have come only 65,000 million years. What is very fascinating to us is about humans started to settle just 15,000 years ago. We started to do some of the agriculture activities somewhere between 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. And extremely humans are active, they are wanderers, they explore the nature, and they have high novelty seeking. And that's how, even when we talk about children, they are extremely active, they are wanderers by nature, and they seek newer and newer things. And when we talk about mental health and quality of life, and in the age of technology, we should remember that it has been millions and millions of years we have come to this stage, and all our primitive thoughts and actions are just byproducts of the evolution we seek in this millions of years. What very nicely fascinates me is also how the brain and the mind has evolved. If you look at the early origin of us from the waters and the oceans, you look at the fish brain, which is so small, but the amphibians, the frogs, which evolved from water and land, the brain seems to have grown. Very interestingly, humans are the only species where the brain is bigger compared to the body mass. Even in elephants, the comparative picture of the brain is very small compared to the body. size. So you see how beautifully we have evolved, and all our thinking process, reasoning process, our addictions and emotions are only in the frontal area of the brain. That is the red part, which is very clear, and we call it as prefrontal area. That's why despite we have this hunger at 145, we still are here and talking about many important aspects. So our incredible ability to think and evolve has come in this millions of years. And in the brain, there's nothing but the wiring. Everybody knows that everybody's brain is a mesh of the neurons all the time communicating. They talk to one another just the way we are talking to each other. And through 50 plus who are in the audience, the brain also has neurons which talk to one another through electrical and chemical process. And if you look into the brain, there is nothing but chemical highways, super highways, which enables to think, laugh, make the joy, look into the technology, work with technology, evolve. All these things are happening. Fascinatingly, when we move from the childhood to adolescent, there is a process called as pruning. That means automatically, whichever pathways are not necessary, they are cut off. The way you do the gardening at your house, whichever is not required, you cut. Very interestingly, all mental disorders begin in adolescence. You look at all major disorders, they start at the adolescent age, because when pruning goes wrong, things come to the forefront of our understanding. So $1 million question is, how do we think about what is this mind? Where do we get it? Because we know so much about the brain, and there are very few answers. The first answer is that we inherit our mind and our thinking process from our parents. The biological gift we receive, that's how we are able to think, conceptualize, understand. Very interestingly, our mind also evolves by the nature, where we are born, how we are nurtured, who are in our surroundings, what kind of inputs we get, and over a period of time, our own nourishment, how we cultivate our mind. So our mind is an integral part of environment, inheritance, and nourishment we provide all through. So when we look at this well-being, mental health, willpower, coping skills, these are all because of cultivated, nurtured, environmental, inherited, and we start thinking about how beautifully we are working. Nowadays, in technology, we talk about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence takes input from the surrounding and it gives the byproduct. Children are amazing super artificial intelligence products. All the time they take information from the surrounding. They take information from what they see, what they hear, what they can sense, and that is embedded in the brains of the youngsters. When you look at the in the development in terms of mood, food, very nicely in the evolution, when we talk about some of the medications we use for treating depression, they are nothing but byproducts of the protein. In the evolution, the simplest thing which we consume over the millions of years, like for example, essential amino acids, when people consume protein, that is converted into some of the beautiful neurotransmitters such as epinephrine and norepinephrine, which helps us to feel good, manage our pains. Similarly, serotonin. These are very important because based on these only we think about how do we manage low mood, how do we manage excitement and all these things. And our brain has many, many super highways. Just like we have the Yamuna Express in North, in Karnataka, we have another Mysore-Bangalore Express. In our brain, there are wonderful expresses. One is dopamine pathway, which looks at reward, what makes us good, pleasure, our problems with compulsion. Why would we like to see our mobile phones again and again? Why do we feel like looking at the gadgets? These are because of straight dopamine pathways, and our thinking process, memory is also because of serotonin. Beautifully in the brain, there are reward pathways. There is a center. If you stimulate it too much, you are likely to get into trouble. If you don't stimulate it properly, you are feeling dull. These pleasure pathways always take input from the external world and also from the hereditary things. Now, in the mental health and quality of life of technology, we should ask this simple question: why are people, especially the children, so much tuned to some of these primitive things such as cartoons, manga, anime, and other things? Why are adults keen on looking very clear images like that of a boy? And why is this communication in the mobile phones and social media is through emojis? And the beautiful answer comes from one of the pioneers in our understanding who put forth this primitive brain, Ramachandran, from San Diego University, United States. He says that if you tap into the primitive area of the brain, this ultra normal stimuli is very, very good because it excites the brain so much that we don't want to look at the full image, we want to look at the abstract thing. That's exactly why children are fascinated with manga and anime, and we don't feel the fascination with these things. So, this is how the technology messes up our understanding. Now, the question we have to answer is also about what is there in the mobile phone which makes these children look into it again and again, unlike us who don't feel like in that compulsion. We need to understand that for millions of years, the light and the brightness has played a key role in the life. Wherever the light has emerged, people have explored. And in human evolution, this light and the brightness is striking for the brain. Very interestingly, the mobile light and the changing images, they misfire the brain and makes us to re-look at this again and again. And that's how children are fascinated with the gadgets because there is light, it's changing things, and the brain is super excited with this thing. What we need to understand is about the children and adolescents have beautiful interaction with the immediate environment. Whenever possible, wherever possible, they explore, they modify, they learn, and that's how they feel there is a lot of fun and a lot of happiness in these things. Sadly, with the onset of technology, we are seeing children who are becoming irritable, they're anxious, they feel more depressed. Why would children who get nutrition, shelter, parents in the age of technology have higher depression, higher irritability, higher anxiety? So the answer comes from some of our understanding about emotional development. If you look at the baby, which is able to respond, perceive happiness, sadness, anxiousness from the mother, father, or any guardian who is taking care of the child. New studies tell us even a brief period of distress is perceived or recorded in the brain as something which is problematic for the child. Neurons mess up, and neuroplasticity is that the brain adapts. If the child receives the warmth and affection, there is a lot of feel-good factor, and these neurons are now settled. What is happening is that the children seem to have more and more parents who are detached, distracted. They are almost always engaged with the technology, and the mental health and the quality of the child is compromised. We also think about why do these children who seem to be so much involved with the adults have so much of problem in cognition, ability to think, concentration. Why have they so much of problem? The answer is about when children don't have these gadgets, they start to use their cognitive abilities. You have seen children seem to draw. They are amazing expression of cognitive abilities. they enhance concentration. So sometime when they don't have access to the internet, it is the time for them to connect to the inner network of how to use the environment. The drawing is an incredible ability. If you just see the children's using whatever and wherever they get space and material, you will be fascinated. How do they come out with these ideas? See, this is the child who has used the sand to draw the pictures on the footpaths. When they don't seem to have the gadgets, they have amazing imagination. You wouldn't have drawn the panda for the rangoli, the drawings in front of house, but children do it. So they seem to have this incredibility ability to modify their environment, which gets struck with the onset of technology. We are also seeing a lot of children and adolescents coming with problems in emotional bonds. They seem to have less affection. They don't seem to have compassion, love, sharing. They don't even feel like sharing with their own siblings and parents. They don't seem to have the caring and sacrifice which we expect for human evolution. Now, you just see if they don't have gadgets, they seem to interact with the animals around them. Whether it's a cat, dog, god, cow, they build love, affection, gentleness. They build their own world with the animals. And some of the human values of love and affection comes with these kind of interaction with whatever is available in the environment. Unfortunately, the TV and the mobile phone and the technology cannot help us to give this love, affection, gentleness which children acquire from interaction with the world around them. Very interestingly, we are coming out with children who have serious problem in creativity. When they play with the mobile phone and the gaming, you simply can't change the predetermined pattern which is embedded in PUBG or the Candy Crush. There is only limited space for the children to do this. Now you allow the children to build their own games. You will be fascinated to see that the child is able to build a football on a small playground at his house and modify the beats for the goal. He can make his own games with the numerous things which are available, whether they can make the aeroplanes, they can make their own gross. You talk about the gross motor skill, fine motor skills, planning. It is possible through the environment in which they have, and technology hampers some of these things, which kills the instincts of the children to be innovators, explorers of the child, of the science, which is easily possible. So this is some of the challenges we are facing. The problem with the new world is also about they seem to have a lot of problem in reading skill, writing skill, and we call it as dyslexia, learning disorders. When children are exposed to the mobile phone, all they get is images, images, images. A child who does not seem to have access to technology, what does he do? He will open up any paper which is lying, explore what is written in it, build up the news stories, look at the colorful pictures which are seen in these papers, and then they improve upon the stories. Their writing skill is superb. They have narrative skills which are hampered by the use of technology. For the first time in our life, we started to see children who seem to be lonely, empty, and talking about boredom. Where do these children get these concepts which we have not heard in the last 50 years? The answer is also that when they don't have access to technology, these children play. They play with cycle, they play with a kite, they go around the places, they seem to do everything. And these are very important for the children because if they feel bored, lonely, they are likely to get addicted to drugs, alcohol, cannabis, which is now a major concern in many of the cities we live. And some of the best interactions for a child happens in the nature because sometimes climbing, falling, exploring the trees, plants, the nature is sometimes the best teacher, best parent, and the best friend. and technology seems to create so much of problem for their children. A emotionally well-developed child and adolescent able to show adults what life is all about. Very interestingly, for the first time, we are seeing that people are taking note of it. If you have heard about the arrest of Pavel Durov at Paris, people said Telegram exploited children. So the CEO is accountable and now he is arrested. Australia became the first country to ban social media for anybody who is below 16. China took one step ahead and said no more than 1 hour for 16 years and below, 2 hours for 16 and 18 years below. So you can imagine how countries are now challenging technology and trying to help them to adapt to our requirements. So in this period, mental health and quality of life in the age of technology is with numerous challenges, but these challenges give us avenues for making small changes at every level, whether it is parents, institutions, faculties, students, researchers, and obviously the big companies which we have to make these changes so that we maintain mental health and quality of life for the future generation. With this, I would like to thank you for being part of this program, and I'm really thank you for considering me to be in this panel. So I would now stop the sharing of the slides and hand over to the moderator. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. A very nice presentation. I think you must have taken a lot of time in making this presentation. It was, even if you would not have spoken, it would have made us clear everything. It was so nicely presented. I think our young faculty will take inspiration from these presentations, the how presentation has to be in the class. And because it has made us remain completely engaged. So similarly, if the students are there, they will definitely learn better. Thank you so much. Now we have the last speaker. So may I request Dr. Krishna Kumar to take over?
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Sir, Dr. Kishore, namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
And
nice to see you.
Thank you very much, sir. My gratitude to Professor Nagar, sir, and Dr. Professor Santosh Dhar, madam, and all the faculty who are here, who has invited me for this lecture. So basically, yeah, same thing I can compliment to Dr. Kishore, that is very nicely presented PPT, is very attractive and, full of colors. That was very good. So my topic would be, we will discuss something on gender disparity in mental health, because so many issues we have discussed, like digitalization, cyber issues, how this technology is being, hampering this mental health, all these issues we have discussed. So basically, I will discuss few very important points, like, for example, if we talk about mental health and women, like my slide is visible. I hope this is visible now.
No, sir.
It's not visible.
It is not visible.
Now
it's
visible.
It's visible now?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So fine. So basically, we will discuss today the major issue why I'm discussing this major topic of mental health and gender disparity, like in women's, because we are talking about mental health in all the age groups. We are talking about child population, we are talking about adult population, we are talking about geriatric population. But what about women's mental health? Because this is the only area where we are not giving full efforts, and so many policies, if you will see from Government of India, Women's Helpline, if you can think it out, Suicide Helpline, if you will think, Domestic Violence Helpline, if you will think, it means they are giving more importance to that particular gender disparity, which basically is going on in our society, which we can see. So here we will discuss few introductory part and few factor affecting this women's mental health. That is very important factor which we can discuss here. And definitely the gender disparity, we talks about this mental health issue, and we will discuss some of the management strategy here, right? And finally, we will conclude this one. So as important phenomena as we want to discuss, like based on all these factors, we can talk about genetic makeup, lifestyle, social ties, reaction to stress, women have certain advantage. Every time we won't say this is the only group which is having more mental health issues, because this is well proved, this one, that in female, the infection of X-linked disease will be less. They have less cardiovascular morbidity due to sex hormones, reproductive system, menopause system, and they have very strong emotional ties of intimacy and friends. That is true. But in the other respect, for example, if we talk about physiological aspect, they are different from that particular this one. And another major important aspect in this particular gender, like they have health issues, both physical as well as psychiatric or mental health issues, but they do good action in this particular respect, in respect to males. That is another phenomena. Let's give an example. If females reporting their health issues to the doctor, they will discuss in a very minute detail, everything like frequency, intensity, everything they will discuss in a very, very elaborative manner. On the other side, if male is discussing, they will discuss very superficial thing. So they have this tendency of difference. There is no issue at all. But if we talk about psychiatric issues, per se mental health issues or mental illness, there are difference of age of onset, symptom of clinical features, frequency of some psychotic symptom or affective disorder, social adjustment. Dr. Kishore has discussed quality of life also, that also differ in both the gender, then outcome of mental disorder. So all these phenomena starting from age of onset to outcome of severe mental disorder differ from this particular age group or differ from this gender-wise perspective. So traditionally, that is understood, like we are saying in our society that both gender plays a single role, like there is no discrepancy between these two gender, but no. If we'll go in tribal areas, rural areas, there is differences between these two gender. And in respect of this discrimination, they are having less attention for this mental health issues. Right. So various studies has been done. Let me quote few studies. Like if we talk about affective disorder or depression, that is very much prevalent in female. In rural area of North India, if you will see, the major depression disorder prevalent rate would be 14.4%. That is in female per se. So that is you can see the difference between male and female, this one. Even some other disorder, for example, we talk about PPD, postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis, is that it has been seen the prevalence would be more than 15%. Though overall prevalence of depression would be 5 to 7%. This has been well proved from evidence-based studies in India or worldwide scenario if we are seeing. But in females per se, the prevalence would be threefold more, like 15% to 16%. This is basically we can see in this particular population. Another study is also going in the same direction. They are talking about some domestic violence. So they said not only depression we are talking about psychotic disorder, we are talking about domestic violence. And you can see here, it has been studied like more than 37% of female had experienced domestic violence. That can be all type of violence they have seen. But the most common violence of partner violence, emotional violence, and followed by physical violence. So you can see the 37% of violence is a really alarming feature for that particular domain. Though there are some general health issues in relation to mental health in women. For example, if we say reproductive system is one, menstruation, menopause, and mental health issues has very positive correlation. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, if you want to see conception and mental health, infertility and mental health, and pregnancy. All these factors makes vulnerable to female, vulnerable to women for these mental health issues. So at the same time, when we are talking about preventive aspect, when we are talking about treatment aspect of that particular domain, so we have to take care of these particular issues, because all these issues are very general health issues, but they can lead to mental health problems in females. That we have to understand here. And this is well-known fact, like due to some infertility issue, due to reproductive system, all these mood and behavioral changes is basically occurs in this particular group. And irritability, restlessness, anxiety, tension, migration, which is a part of that particular circle. So we can't ignore that particular circle, and this can be sometimes vulnerable for depression and other mental health issues, right? So symptoms of depression, anxiety is 2 to 3 times more in women rather than male, that we discussed in few studies. Whereas if we talk about some other disorder, we always not say all the disorder is more common in female, but if we talk about addiction and substance abuse, that is more common in males. But nowadays, if we go in metropolitan city, that is also not too much difference between these two groups. So all these symptoms, all this domain are sometimes become a more complicated in this particular age. gender-wise group. Like severe depression, if we talk about suicidal thoughts, if we talk about, so that is more common. And this is a burden would be more than 41.9% of disability if we want to see this particular age group and gender-wise in depression. These can be some factor. This is well-proved factor if you will go one by one. For example, why this is more common in female? That is the one which you want to study. So pressure by multiple role. They are housewife, they are mother, they are going for a work. No, they have to play all the role, whatever you can think. So they are having multiple role. So multiple role create multiple pressure on them. So mental health issues can be exaggerated. Then gender discrimination is there. Though we are saying no, there is an equal role of male and female. In some society, that is not equal. But if whatever we are saying, that is not always true. Then there are associated factor with poverty. For example, if male is ill, we go for the treatment because he is the earning hand in the family. But if female is ill, nobody is bothered for that particular treatment. They are saying she can make a food, that is enough. We can continue with this particular issues. Malnutrition. You just think, we are not saying in urban cities or literate families, but if there is two child are there, one is male, one is female. If we talk about rural areas, if we talk about some tribal issues, so they are giving more preference of nutrition to male rather than female because he is the earning hand of that particular family. Overwork is another issue which is very common, and another very major issue, that is salient issues, which is physical and sexual abuse at every place. So all these factors affect women's mental health, which is a alarming sign for us to understand this particular factor. This is also well proved that if we compare this to gender, for example, females are having more internalizing issues, internalizing disorder like depression, but males are having more externalizing disorder. For example, substance abuse they are having, aggression they are having, impulsivity they are having. So all these disorder basically differ in these two particular genders. So let me discuss a few difference between symptoms of disorder in particular gender. Like I said, if we discuss age of onset or onset of symptom, classification, their treatment modalities, that it differ. But if you will see this particular core symptom of depression, just think about your family or grandmother or your mother. When she is upset, what type of symptoms she used to show? Headache, fatigability. So these symptoms are more common in female if we talk about depression. But in other side, if we talk about males, the helplessness, hopelessness, worthlessness is more common in males. So these are the big difference between these two groups. Another sign and symptom which is very common in this particular gender would be hopelessness, irritability, tearfulness, withdrawn behavior, loss of interest can be commonly seen in this gender. If we talk about GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, which is also very common in females, and you can see clearly 2 to 3-fold greater lifetime risk of anxiety in females than males. And sometimes it can become more complicated if this is coexisting with other mental health issues or psychiatric disorder. So dysthymia is very common, sometimes coexist with depression in female. So GAD is more common, depression is more common, other mental health issues we'll discuss in further slide is more common. Another very important aspect, if we talk about common mental disorder, forget about the main psychiatric disorder, schizophrenia or other disorder, common mental health disorder and severe mental health disorder, all these phenomena are greater in female group. But very interesting phenomena you will try to understand, like if we talk about the outcome and management, that is more good in female. The better outcome is good, the course of outcome is good in schizophrenia if we talk about severe mental disorder in female rather than males. Suicide is more common in female, though this has been studied that males attempt more suicide, but successful suicide is in males only. So suicide attempt is more, and this is another phenomenon which we should take care. Reason can be nuclear family, married at very young age, failure in life, difficulty in interpersonal relationship, and dowry related harassment. All these factors plays a very important role in this particular gender. So eating disorder, you can see, that can be impact of media, that can be impact of other circumstances, observation learning, that is also more common. And more than 85% of anorexia nervosa cases and 65% of cases you can find out in the society. So that is another. And the major issue, major junk would be in adolescent girl. Some other salient disorder in eating disorder would be, these are the very common teenager in young adults. If you can see in adolescent group, this is very common. The reason being role model, celebrities, media plays a very important role in this particular diagnosis. And anorexia nervosa is more common than bulimia nervosa. They used to take restricted calories diet, and sometimes we have seen these patients landed up into emergency conditions. So we have to take care of this particular diagnosis. Substance abuse, that is a myth, like if we are saying that female never takes drugs or alcohol, but nowadays that is also very common in metropolitan cities. But the prevalence would be less as compared to male, but they are taking. Reason can be physical abuse by other women. That is another factor. Stress from traumatic event. So these can be factor which plays a very important role in this particular system. And if there is comorbid issues like depression or anxiety disorder can be found in alcoholism. These are the few factors. If you will see one by one, you will try to match this particular diagnosis with this factor, like drinking to improve psychological functioning. That can be myth, and they used to take that particular substance. Low self-esteem is another factor which is very important if we talk about substance abuse in female. Poor coping skill in adolescent group. Nowadays, we are more concerned with that particular age group, why they are taking too much substance because of poor coping skills. Family history of alcoholism, particularly in father, that plays a very important role. Severe premenstrual syndrome, right? Sometimes due to pain, due to irritability, they used to go for that particular direction. And sometimes concomitant psychiatric diagnosis. It can be depression, it can be anxiety, which can lead in this particular conditions. History of abuse, another very important phenomena. Like forget about one particular type of abuse, any abuse, whatever you can think, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse can lead to this type of issues. Fertility problem, heavy drinking partner, sexual dysfunction, eating disorder, all these factors plays a very important role, and domestic violence. So these are the few factors which can make vulnerable to females in this particular diagnosis. Then violence and abuse, as we discussed in few studies, the violence will be more than 37%. The latest study in North India, and it has been seen more than 30% of married women between the age of 15 to 49 years are victim of domestic violence. You can see the alarming data, more than 70% of female they are having domestic violence. And the most common domestic violence would be IPV, intimate partner violence. That can be physical violence, like very less threshold, hitting, pushing, grabbing, biting, choking, shaping, shaking and slapping can be physical example of physical violence. Sexual can be encounter of sexual this one without any consent of the female. Another diagnosis would be very interesting. Nowadays, we are seeing in our clinical practice that is borderline personality disorder. That is very common in female, though antisocial is very common in male, but borderline is very common in female. That nowadays we are seeing so many cases of borderline personality disorder. The age range is same, 14 to 17 years. So many cases has been came out. And the reason being, if you will go in the etiological factor of borderline personality disorder would be abuse. Interestingly, we have seen so many patients, and this has been proved from various studies, RCT. They are saying the reason can be abuse only. You can say lifetime abuse can diagnosis or lifetime diagnosis. Very different phenomena which we should consider. Dementia is another phenomena. If we talk about old age dimensions, dementia is very common, and the life expectancy is more likely to be neurodegenerative disorder of dementia, and that is also vulnerable group would be female only. So all these issues, whatever we start from depression through anxiety and major mental health issues, that is very common in female. Though there is very good chance, very good indication that not only the diagnosis wise, but if we talk about course and outcome, they have better outcome in treatment modalities. They improve very fast rather than males. But per se diagnosis wise, they are having all these disorder. It's very common. So reason being, caregiver burden is more because they are the only, take care of the family. If they are suffering with some kind of mental health issues, the caregiver burden will be more. So all these issues, we just summarize the mental health issues that is more common: depression, seasonal affective disorder, eating disorder, phobia, histrionic personality disorder, antisocial is more common in male. But if you will see left side, that is more common in female. That is just a summary of whatever we have discussed. Now we are discussing the factor affecting. There are three basic levels. Just try to understand. One is individual, one is family, and another societal factor. If we'll see this individual factor, if we will work out on risk factor as well as protective factor of females, because nowadays we are not talking about treatment modalities. Just try to understand, because mental health is a boom, and this will become a pandemic. So if we talk about that particular issue, so we don't have any modalities available nowadays in India. For example, if we talk about manpower, resources, we don't have that resources. You can see the prevalence. Recent study is saying more than 49% of female are having common mental health issues. I'm not diagnosing as schizophrenia or depression, but common mental health issues prevalence would be more than 49%. So here, if we can target this protective factor, at least we can come down that conditions, that come down that rates. So all these protective factor plays a very important role as an individual factor. So we have to take care of all these issues. Like recent guideline of NCERT in CBSE, they are talking about life skill. We have to teach that life skill to the child so that at least we can come down this particular prevalence rate in the female. Another risk factor would be family. Everybody knows family plays a very important role in mental health. The biology is only 10%, but 90% factor, which is known as psychosocial factor. So if we can target this risk factor, for example, absence of either parents in childhood, antisocial role model, parietal discord, parental criminality, substance abuse, if we can convert these factors into protective factor, can be attachment to the family, supporting caring parents, family harmony, can improve the conditions. So we have to target this protective factor rather than a risk factor. That is another important aspect. School factor, yes, that plays a very important role if we talk about in condition to adults and girls. So all these protective factor plays a very important role. So just think if we talk about preventive aspect of mental health, because the purpose of this seminar and conference, we have to give awareness of mental health issues. As I said, this is alarming condition, and WHO has given very, very alarming statement for mental health issues. So we can use as protective factors so that at least we can handle this particular menace. So now we will discuss what can be the solution. We know depression is common, dysthymia is common, anxiety is common mental health disorder is very common in female. What can be the solution? So solution can go in two basic arms. One is medication, everybody knows, but at the same time, we know we don't have much choices of medication, and medication has side effect too. And medication is only for severe mental health issues. If we talk about schizophrenia or severe depression, yes, there is a need. But if we talk about neurotic spectrum disorder, which is more common, more than 49%, which prevalence it has been shown, here we can use the non-pharmacological treatment, right? So non-pharmacological treatment can cover awareness and psychoeducation. That is the most important aspect. That is the purpose we are discussing here. Though media plays a very important role for awareness. Nowadays, whatever you can watch, Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Hotstar, the content would be only secondary, either aggression, suspiciousness, violence, domestic violence, whatever you can think. So all these factors, and this play role as two eras, like Deepika Padukone came and she said, I was suffering with depression. I was taking therapy, I'm improved. So awareness plays a very important role in mental health. Same, psychoeducation plays a very important role. If we can give clear psychoeducation or we can provide sportive session to the patient, believe me, more than 45%, more than 50% patient will feel comfortable because they don't know what is happening with them. So psychoeducation is very important, sportive session is very important, and psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is another modality which we can give to the patient and they can improve from that particular adversity and difficulties from that particular condition. Another modalities would be cognitive behavior therapy, which can give in depression and anxiety disorder. Cognitive therapy, I won't go in much detail. Everybody knows identifying, challenging the negative thoughts, negative self-monitoring, all this technique we can teach to the patient and he can or she can be improved. These are the few things which you can do in daily life. Everybody want to improve, but there are few things with which if we'll deal these few issues, we can improve, like reduce and eliminate the alcohol and drugs. This is only for that particular group, which I'm talking about. Exercise to engage the physical activities. Most of the issues can be resolved with lifestyle issues. Proper and balanced diet, which is nowadays everybody can think of where we are going. Improve the regular sleep pattern. All these issues, which is very common and easily we can do, can improve mental health. Adequate sleep, sport, emotional support is very important. Feeling of gratitude is very important. Nowadays, we are not showing that gratitude. That is most important, right? Dealing with mental illness, if we want to deal, we should be very empathetic, understanding. We should avoid critical and shaming statement and challenging expression of hopelessness. These are the few things which we can do. And definitely, if we talk about promotion of mental health, Government of India is doing so many policies. They are generating World Psychiatric Association. They are working on that particular gender. So all these issues can be worked out, and they have given recommendation for that. For example, to support psychological health promotion program, support women's marital, sexual and reproductive choice, to ensuring safe motherhood, and supporting public awareness and psychoeducation. So these are the things which we can recommend for further awareness program. So we'll conclude here only. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Krishna Kumar. Now with this, I think we have come to the end of this session. All the speakers spoke nicely, lot of insights, lot of learning. First, the first speaker was Dr. Anubhuti Dubey. She highlighted, she said the first thing, the most thing important is to how to conceptualize. How do we say digital technology usage behavior? How do we define it? And in this, she said, it is very important to differentiate between active users and the passive users, and also the social and non-social use. She also highlighted what is hedonic well-being and what is endomonic well-being. But finally, she said there are two different perspectives. One perspective says that the digital use is not harmful, whereas the other perspective says, well, it is harmful. She says that more research needs to be done because the sample size which has been taken, that can be expanded, and one can come out with the findings. She said, although we say that it doesn't have digital technology doesn't have bad effect, but yes, to some extent, it can have an impact on the general efficiency. Again, she highlighted that on the spectrum, digital technology is on the negative side. But at the same time, it's also true we cannot stop younger generation from using digital technology because it will definitely make them powerless. So there has to be more research because there have been conflicting views, but more research needs to be done to come out with what are the implications of digital use. Then we had Dr. Kishore M, as I said, with a very nice presentation. He talked about the evolution of man. He said about how the children are novelty seekers and they draw information from the surroundings. He also talked about a little bit more on the mind, and he says how does from mind how the pleasurable pathways are directed from the external environment. Again, he discussed about why children are fascinated with cartoons like manga and anime. Why children are fascinated with the bright light, colorful mobile light, and that is detrimental in the sense because it misfires the brain. And children are more interested in exploring, modifying learning, and they see a lot of fun in that. But with the technology, they have become more irritable, depressive, and anxiety. But one of the reasons of this is when parents are detached and they are glued either to TV or to their mobiles. So it has a repercussion on the mental health of children. Again, these days when children are all the time glued with their internet or mobile phones, so these days we also talk about that children have lost, now there is no value system. What we had in our times, we had respect for the elders. So now you can see there is less of affection, no sharing, no caring, and no sacrifice. The idea of sacrifice doesn't is not precipitated in today's children. or adolescents. Now, all these things would come to them if they would interact with the external environment. Again, further, reading, writing is again hampered with technology. So all these things that finally, the repercussions are that adolescents feel lonely, and this is one of the reasons why drug addiction is high. Now, some countries have, as Dr. Kishore said, he concluded with that some countries have taken steps toward it, and there are some policies which make people less glued to these digital technologies. The last one presentation was of Dr. Krishna Kumar. He talked about the women mental health and well-being. He said that more health reportings are in rural India. And he also said that they are 2 to 3 times more prone to depression, anxiety, and psychological distress. 37%, he gave some figures also, where he said women are more, depending on those figures, he said, concluded that women are more vulnerable to mental issues. Now, finally, all the presentations were really nice in the sense, very informative. But finally, what are the learnings from this plenary session? I'll just say the 2 things which have come out from and which we need to take with us. First is technology. We need to understand that it is very important. We cannot live in today's world without technology. But only thing is we cannot live without social media. But then overuse, which is interfering with your daily routine, that is to be taken care of. We need to be aware about it, that how its overuse is detrimental for the mental health. Technology is there, as one of the speakers said, it's a tool, but it cannot be a crutch. It cannot be a crutch without which we cannot move. But giving this awareness is more important. So we need to, from time to time, we need to make our younger generation aware about this. Then another takeaway was that we need to pay attention to the mental health of women. There are many protective factors that can play a important role in restricting the conditions of women, which is very alarming according to the statistics which Dr. Krishnan shared with us. And there have to be preventive issues which we need to take care of. He gave a list like medication, awareness, psycho education, psychosocial interventions, like a lot number. But what is more important is that we need to be sensitive. We need to be sensitive to the problems of women. And as Dr. Krishnan said, that if a male member is sick, he may go to the doctor, but if the female woman is sick in the family, it may be delayed. But now why it is like this? So we need to be aware, sensitive to these kind of issues. And then he also, he also discussed about what are the government policies, how the government has been promoting this issue. But government is all right, but at our individual level, we need to be sensitive to these issues, and we need to make younger people aware about this and make them, sensitize them towards the problems of women. With these words, I thank all the 3 speakers. You have made our day through Dr. Kishore's presentation and other Dr. Krishnan and Dr. Aditi Dubey's deliberation. Thank you so much. Over to Shilpa.
Thank you, ma'am. As John F. Kennedy said, we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. Now, I would like to express my gratitude to all the resource persons and the session chair of the session for sparing their valuable time from their busy schedule. I extend my regards for their kind presence and inspiring address. Thank you all. Today, we learned that every bit of knowledge adds value to our lives. I hope you carry today's lessons in your hearts and use them to shine in whatever you do. Let's all promise to keep learning, stay curious, and spread the knowledge we gain. A good event never ends. It takes only a pause and keeps us waiting for the next. Happy learning. Thank you all.
Thank
Okay.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay,
sir.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Krishnan. Thank you, Dharma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We can. Okay, Ji.
Okay, ma'am.